All right, I know it said about 30 more seconds or something there. I couldn't wait. I was too excited to get this stream started, guys. Let me pause my YouTube replay so I can save a little bandwidth there. But all right, guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited for today's stream. Hopefully my audio is okay there. I think it's all right. We are in Flight Sim 2020. Man, it has been a minute since we've been in this platform, but I could not ignore the beauty of it. I've seen some other streamers flying it around, and I just, I had to get back into it. It's been a while since we've been in the Fly-by-Wire mod as well. I am excited to see the progress. I mean, these guys are just cranking out progress and updates. I mean, I can't shout them out enough. The work that these guys are doing, and it's all, just a community project, everybody coming together. It really does restore my faith in humanity. So huge shout out to the Fly-by-Wire guys, everybody involved in that project, whether you're, subject matter experts or coders or anything that you guys take part in that project. It's absolutely fantastic what they've done. I did one little flight around Denver here yesterday just to see, make sure everything worked, and to see where this airplane is now and when we first had FS2020 and the default 320, it's it's unbelievable. And they have SimBrief integration now, which we're going to get to here in a minute, so you're going to get to check this out. Right off the bat, Dougal McTavish, what's going on, man? Good to see you here, brother. He says, I love this old livery. Me too. This is my favorite United Airlines livery, the Battleship Gray. It's fictional because they didn't have Neos, but nonetheless, it is still my favorite color to see. Like, we got another one sitting back there, that Battleship Gray. Gotta love it, man. So shout out Dougal McTavish. Cartage, well, I see you pop in. Al W, DFW in the house. What's up, brother? Hot Shot working on the sounds. Hot Shot, shout out to you, man. He just got the latest dev sounds out as well, so we're going to have new APU startup sounds to listen to. I'm very excited. I've already heard a sneak peek of what they sound like. I think you guys are going to love it. Navy Land Sub, what's going on? Good to see you here. Fubar, what is up, my friend? CIO 183, what is going on? Good to see you here. Look at all the silver stripers in chat. Man, oh man, some dedicated members in the house. Good to see everybody there. Let's see, who else? What other members we have? Whoa. So that's one thing I got to remember. When I scroll out my chat box, if I don't click off of Flight Sim, it automatically scrolls my Flight Sim too, even though I'm on a different window. Let's see. Who else is here? Anthony Anderson, good to see you. Tristan, Team Vodka, what is going on, man? What is going on? And Henrik Hansen, somebody I saw. Spirit Wings, welcome back to Private Pilot, Spirit Wings. That's who I wanted to get to. I saw your little membership pop up there when I was getting the stream ready. But good to see you back on the membership, man. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys, let's hop into this. This is pretty incredible to think of where this airplane was a few months ago to where we are now. So cold and dark. We're going to get everything fired up here. Ooh, so actually, guys, we have 25.4 volts. We're going to be talking systems and more study questions in cruise, but this is one of those questions. In real life, if I saw this right here, I know that the batteries need to be charged. So the way to do that is we put them in auto mode, and then we attach external power, and then the batteries would begin charging, and there's a way we could check that on the eCam as well. Now, I'm not sure what the in-depth of modeling is yet on that, but in real life, this would indicate that we do need to charge the batteries there. So we got 25.4 volts. We got external power on. We're charging that. That is good. Let's see. Let's come down here. Those can stay off. Those can stay off for now. Let's get a little overhead lighting on here. Ground supply can come on. Let's go ahead and get the ADIRs aligning right now. I know the on-bat light is not yet simulated, but I mean, we at least have ADIRs we can manipulate. That's fantastic. We have fire test sounds. Check that out. Awesome stuff. And we'll go ahead and check engine 2 while we're up here as well. That looks good. All right, that is coming to life. Let's turn up these ND screens here. Cannot ignore the beauty of this airplane. So it's 23.0. I want to take off at 2320Z in the sim. We're gonna chase the sunset going over the mountains. It's absolutely stunning. So let's go ahead and get these things fired up here. We'll get the alignment on. Since there's SimBrief integration, there's not a ton that you have to do in the box, which is kind of nice for streaming here. So we're gonna zoom all the way into the box. Whoa. That was fast. I got to get used to my zoom speed and everything here in FS2020. Phantom 320, what's going on, man? He says, I think they're always below the required with the Fly-by-Wire mod right now. Oh, they're always below, Phantom. Are you talking about the batteries? Okay, interesting. So that'd be something to look for in the future, but definitely simulate getting that ground power on there and charging those batteries up. But we're going to talk all systems. I picked out some questions for my recurrent training that we're going to be going over in cruise. We got a little bit longer cruise. It's going to be about 1 hour and 30 in cruise. So let's go ahead and I think I'm still set up here. We'll go options, AOC, SimBrief, V1 Sim. Perfect. Okay, so now I can go back here. Check this out. AOC. Oh, wait, no. Back. ATSU. Init. Here we go. Init data request. Look at that. United 313, Denver, Burbank 9.5 fuel. So this is something that blows my mind. We have the FS Labs that has integration with SimBrief and limited A, and actually pretty well modeled ACARs, and we already have some SimBrief integration and limited ACARs integration in the mod, the FlyByWire mod. This is FlyByWire mod in FS20. That alone is absolutely crazy to me. I know that the TOLUS can do some integration if you download the file and put it in, but just being able to do it right from your McDo here, this is pretty incredible progress to see this already. So if you don't know what happens, that then loads the airplane or loads the flight plan. And then what we do here, we go performance, weight, and balance. I need 7.4 fuel. We got 200 taxi, 4,600 trip fuel. We'll go ahead and hit load. Then we can arrow right. It's got a payload straight out of SimBrief. Everything from SimBrief, we're going to go ahead and press load there as well. And that loads the aircraft up. So now we can come to our... here we're going to do cost index of 75, cruise flight level 380, IRS and NIT, align on ref, we'll confirm that, confirm, and now, oh, it didn't actually load the flight plan. You know what, that's weird, because it loaded it last time. That might have been a bug, might be some bug, but it actually loaded it last time. Maybe it's because it's not aligned. I know it loaded it last time. Let me come back here. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's try it again. I know it worked last time. I know this is a newer dev version. Maybe I did something wrong. Didn't load it, but it loaded everything else. That's interesting. So the last time that I did that, it actually loaded the flight plan itself, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and let's get our ATIS through here, because we can get our ATIS through here, but maybe one of you devs in the mod can, uh-oh. I don't know why you got timed out there by Nightbot. Oh, I don't know why you can't post links. Oh, I'm sorry here. You know what? We can change that, Hotshot. Sorry, man. I'll have to, I'll toggle, I'll fix Nightbot here in a second. Let me get everything else going on. It should load, yeah, it should load the flight plan. I know it won't load the departures and arrivals, but it will load the en route stuff, so maybe it's just, let me look at my flight plan. My flight plan has a couple waypoints, so, oh well. It loaded it last time. You guys give it a shot, but nonetheless, it still loads everything else. It loaded our fuel, it loaded our weight and balance, so that is still pretty sweet. So Denver, let's go ahead and get departure ATIS. We'll send that off, and while we're sitting here, yeah, I need to request init in the init page. Maybe I was supposed to do it up here. Is that why it didn't work? Maybe I did it backwards. I did it yesterday, man. Shoot. Anyway, let's go back and let's check these. These button sounds are freaking awesome, too. We got received message here. Let's see what we got. We got our ATIS. So 180 at 9er, 10 miles, 3009. So we'll load in 3009. They are synced up, so I just have to load this side here, 3009. And I'm going to turn the brightness up here. 3009 as well. IRS in a line in 2 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll just leave that off for now. So what we'll do is we will just load manually. Let me pull up my flight plan here. If the winds are 1/8, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off 16 left. So let's do this. Let's go Denver, departure, 16 left. And I got to actually pull up my flight plan here. On the Baylor 6, so I know you guys can't see it, but let me just get this in here. Baylor 6 to Takeoff, insert that. And then after Teru, it's direct to roll, R-O-O-L-L. There we go. Rule, insert you. And from rule, let's see, I actually have never even tried to input a airway from this mod here. Let's see. Airways via Quebec 94. That looks good. To Wellum, W-E-L-U-M. Well, we are on the Retro United. We'll just pretend that the Retro 8 cars didn't work. It happens sometimes. That's why you always got to verify. But I know it does work. I probably did something wrong. Tried to re-enter SimBrief username. Okay, so maybe that was it, Hotshot. Maybe because I did the same thing yesterday with the same exact flight plan, there might have been some type of bug because I did the same exact thing. And we'll load the ILS 8. And I don't have an arrival on my SimBrief plan, so we're just going to leave it that way with none. Insert that. And that's our flight plan. 747 miles. Whew. All right, so we got a flight plan in, no problem. I'm trying to see what Hotshot said here in the chat. He said, try to re-enter SimBrief username. You should be able to load it from the init A page. Did you pre-fill it before? I might have done it at the wrong direction. I loaded it from, what page did I load it from? I went down here, McDo, Atsu, AOC, and then I did init. I did this right here. And then I just hit init data request. And it pulled it up, but I think I was supposed to do it over here, right? When it pops up in amber, that's what you're supposed to do. So I think I just did it out of order, but no harm, no foul. We still got our fuel on board. We still got everything else on board, so that is good. Just know that if it does work, guys, and there actually is a video on the there actually is a video on YouTube from FlyByWire that shows how to do it step by step, which is what I followed yesterday, and it worked. And Hotshot says when you get the new dev version, it resets it. I think you need to re-enter. So that's probably it. I should have just re-entered my SimBrief username to clear everything out, and it would have been fine. But we're still good. No harm, no foul. Just know that it does work, guys. So you have SimBrief integration in the FS2020 Airbus, which just blows my mind, because we've been waiting for integration like that for a long time in X-Plane. And you know, it's minimal. So 7.3 on board, that's what we have. So we're going to go ahead and put 7.3 right here in the block. And I believe it actually does calculate fuel numbers for us here. Look at that. Hour and 14 extra. That looks good to me. Progress page still is not functional, I believe, right? I don't believe this is functional yet. Yeah, that's all right. We don't need it. Perf data. We'll preload speeds, and then I think we'll load them after. We'll load them after engine start as well. And of course, we're going to do a flaps 1 Toga out of here, guys, because Denver, high density altitude. Although it is pretty cold outside, so either way. Transition altitude, we're going to set that to 18,000 feet. Hotshot, did you do these McDo click sounds as well? Because these McDo click sounds are pretty sweet. Arnhem J says, does it not add the waypoints? Arnhem J, it does add the waypoints. If you do it properly. I had done it yesterday, and then I got the dev version. I didn't reset my SimBrief username. But if you do it properly, I can tell you from experience, it does work. It will load your SimBrief flight plan. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, FlyByWire guys, but I don't believe it enters the SIDs or stars yet. It just enters all your en route stuff. So you go back and you just input your SID and your star. But that's not a big deal at all. Probably gonna. That's actually, I kind of prefer that, because depending on what ATC is doing, you may actually have a different SID or star anyway than what you've filed. That's very common even in real life. So, all right, everything's loaded here. Let's get our fuel pumps on. And check this out. I want to listen to those fuel pumps turn on. I'm going to crank up the sounds here. Listen to those fuel pumps running. That's pretty sweet. And it's 23:14, so we got to get this show on the road here, because I want to get us airborne. On and auto, arm those, prime the APU, and let's run a quick little checklist here. If find my checklist. There we go. Maintenance log and tail number. That's on board. Check. Cockpit preps complete. Gear pins and covers removed. Signs. They are on an auto. ADIRs. We are navoed. Fuel. 7 required. 7.3 on board. Altimeters. 3009 are set. EFB checked. Not technically applicable here in this aircraft. We don't have an EFB, but flap is open. All right, let's fire this APU up, guys. I heard the igniters going off. I got a guy idling behind me, which doesn't help. Wow. That APU sounds good. It's hard to tell because I got a guy idling behind me, but I can still hear it spooling up. And I don't know if you caught it, but right when I started it, you can hear the igniters going off. I love that. Does this version have the V1 sound pack? I don't believe it does. I did complete all the audio for him. We'll see when that one will eventually come out. Yeah, Hotshot got it. No sounds until EFB. There you go. Wow. That's spooling. Recorded from a real airplane, if I'm not mistaken, right? That is pretty sweet, man. Let's go ahead and get the packs online here. APU bleed can come on. We'll turn that off. That is awesome. Hear those packs spinning up? That little high-pitched whine in the background, that's the pack spinning up to speed to provide airflow to the cabin. That is the type of immersion that we're talking about, guys. When you talk about trying to get the sound immersion to a level that really brings you to the real airplane, that is what does it right there. Little tiny details like that. Little tiny details makes this plane stand out big time. That's awesome. All right, what else we got on the overhead? Let's make sure everything else is cleaned up. You know, I never did attach the jetway, but, oh well. Is that on an auto? It was an auto. Okay, just hard to see it. On an auto. That looks good there. Never did attach the jetway, but we're good to go. It is 16:17. We need to push off the gate here. Let me get this thing going here. Tune Denver ground. I know I don't have the fancy... Oops. Nope. Ground services. Request pushback. I don't have the fancy pushback thing yet.
Pushback. JetBlue 133 pushback request accepted.
Alright, so he's going to get the pushback. Let's do below the line. Windows, doors, and sides. They're closing on. Beacon is coming on. Thrust lever is idle. Parking brake, we're going to turn it off because this guy just starts pushing back without asking me. Parking brake is off. Transponder, we do need to set our transponder for ATC. We're going to squawk 2000. And we're going to turn it on. We're going to do all. And TARA for VATSIM purposes. And we're pushing back, guys. Team Vodka says, how about some heat in the cabin? Yeah, we're going to heat it up. I know it's on max cold. I wanted to take off right at 20Z. It might be a few minutes late. Man, yesterday when I did this, when I was flying around the Denver airport, there were some nice clouds. Looks like we're pretty much bluebird skies today, but we'll probably pick up some clouds as we get closer to California. Rusty, is there a pushback plugin? I believe there's something called like Easy Pushback or something like that, Pushback Helper. But since we're here in Denver, we're just a straight back pushback is all I need. Wow, I got to figure out this box. All I need is a straight back push and we'll be
Denver
good to go.
ground check Blue 133 requesting the end of pushback. Jet Blue 133 request to end pushback received.
Brake set. You're clear to disconnect, sir. We're going to go ahead and start engine number 1. So everything is good to go. Beacon is on. Oh yeah, I love these. We got bleed pressure. Here we go. Feast your ears. Did you guys hear that blow off? That ignite? That ignition there? Boom. Wow. We're going to get both engines fired up because it is, we were cold and dark here. We need to get the time. Listen to that PTU going off. These are BSS sound quality, definitely. This is definitely up there with a Payware sound pack add-on. All right, I'll be quiet. That is too awesome, man. That is too awesome. That is awesome. All right, we got 2 good starts, it looks like here. We'll go ahead and go back to normal. Arm the speed brakes. Let's do a little flap extension. Oh, yeah. Sam, that's off. That's you off to my left. Awesome. I don't know why I still got to clean up my livery pack. Oh, we got 2 good starts. That can come off. That can come off. Let's go ahead and let's warm it up here. It's a little bit chilly. Somebody was complaining about the temperature. Not uncommon. We'll get those nice and toasty. Everything else looks good. And I should have you into there and there. Let's get some lights on. Oh, we're 2 minutes behind schedule. The integral lighting, however you say it, is fantastic. I got my taxi bound to that. Wow. Whoa there in the thrust levers. We're going to 1-6 left, I believe. Yes, so we're going to come out here and taxi to 1-6 left. I should also probably set Unicom. And I got to set my my comm button here. Push to talk. Okay. Denver traffic, United 313. I'm going to taxi at 1-6 left. Awesome. All right.
November 1230 Foxtrot, taxiing behind the United to 16 left.
There we go. Is that Frontier static at the gate? I don't know if that was a static or not.
Southwest 1430 at Hotel Taxi.
Hotshot says, I'm so happy you like the sounds you don't even know. Hotshot, I am beyond impressed with these sounds, man. I mean, I am, honestly, I'm not even just saying that. I am beyond impressed. And the APU, I can't, we'll spool it up again at the gate. It was kind of blocked by the guy that was idling behind me. And I'll tell you a story when we get to cruise. You just got to remind me. But the sound of the igniters going off when you're walking underneath that APU is pretty impressive. And it mimics almost exactly what the airplane really sounds like. I mean, it should because it's recording. But the fact that he's got it blended with everything and with the RPM, absolutely fantastic.
Denver traffic, Frontier 407, now departing Q5.
So I've really adjusted my curves on the rudder pedals here to try to maintain a little better directional control on the ground. Let's go ahead and do some of our flight control checks here as we're taxiing uphill. Full up, a full down, a neutral, a full left, a full right, a neutral, rudder, full left, a full right, a neutral, auto brakes max, takeoff config check. You can go on, you can go to auto. Everything else is on. We'll call the flight attendants.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff. Soul's got it. So I'm curious if you guys know, because I've seen a lot of different sound packs that seem to use a pilot's voice for arm doors and cross check. Now that's normally done at the gate, not the cabin crew seats for departure. That's typically a pilot making that. That's always a pilot making that, really. But the arm doors and cross check is actually a flight attendant. That's the lead flight attendant call to her other flight attendants that they are supposed to arm their doors and cross check, meaning left and right. And I believe that's what it is. I'm sure XP72 will have the definitive answer because he was actually a flight attendant on the big airplanes like 747s and stuff. But yeah, that's actually a flight attendant call at the gate, the arm doors and cross check. So we got traffic coming head on here. We'll go ahead and give way to him. It looks like he's coming straight down this way. We'll see here. If he comes straight, I'll go right. Turn my taxi light off. Alright, so we'll go around him. Love these sounds. I know the sounds are good when I want to burn fuel taxiing by just spooling up the engines. Sam says, I like the plane picks up speed while idling. I totally agree, man. That is true to real life as well. These Airbuses, especially moderately to lightly loaded, they will really start to run away from you at idle thrust.
Denver traffic, citation 729 Tango taxi runway 17 right, Denver.
Shouldn't you be at executive?
Maybe.
That's Phantom there.
You can hook up a jetway to citation.
Hey man, there's a GA ramp here.
What'd that landing fee cost you?
$500.
That's Phantom 325 a site, a slowtation. Mateo Chewy, what's going on, man? Thank you for the 5 donation. He says, just a little something to show you appreciation for everything you keep giving to the community. Always love your content and your style. Mateo, thank you so much, man, for that $5 donation. Really appreciate it, man. I appreciate your continued support here at the channel. And just the feedback that I get from you guys, and when you say that you love the content, or I get messages from guys say that they've learned to fly the Airbus because of the content that I put out, that is awesome. That is why I do this, man. I don't do YouTube to make it a full-time job. I don't do it for trying to get any type of fame, I guess if you can call that, or subs or whatnot. I do it purely because I enjoy teaching, and what drives that is the continued response from the community, from you guys that love to learn everything Airbus, and not even just Airbus, everything aviation in general. So thank you, Mateo. I appreciate that, man. All right, so before takeoff stuff is done, let's run a quick checklist here. Before takeoff checklist, gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim is, what'd I do? Oh, I just retracted the flaps. There we go. 0.5% CG set. V1, VR, V2 flex. Barely see it. I can see it here. 133, 34, 138. No flex set. We're going to do a full yoga takeoff out of here. Flaps, they are config 1+F. Flight instruments are checked. I know this says descent here. I'm pretty sure that'll change when we go full Toga power. Vertical speed 0. That's fine. Flight instruments are set. Flight controls checked. ECAM memo. Takeoff all green. ECAM status check. PWS is auto. TCAS code set. TRI cabin crew advised. Mini brief is complete. Below the line, we're going off 16 left. Confirmed. Fuel 7 required. 7.2 on board. Engine mode selector normal. Bleeds and packs are set. Before takeoff checklist complete. Guys, get ready to enjoy the departure. Look at that sun coming.
Denver traffic, Walker 428, starting initial approach at Hoppy for 17 right. We'll call final. Denver traffic.
United battleship, probably best liver they ever had. Totally agree, man. Hotchat says you're definitely the best pilot streamer on YouTube. I watch a lot, and you're definitely top, along with Black Box and 320 Sim. Hey, Hotshot, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for your support, dude. I haven't watched Black Box in ages. I watched his video. I think he was like OG FS Labs in the FSX days. I think that's how I actually came to getting the FS Labs back in the day. Yeah, I haven't. I think is he on Twitch? He might be on Twitch. Maybe that's why I haven't really seen anything from him. But yeah, back in the day, man, he's the OG FS Labs guy. Are you vying for a lead company instructor job? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what 2021 holds, guys. We'll see what I got a lot of good stuff coming at you 2021. I've got some plans that I want to do for the channel. I've got some stuff I want to go over with you guys. I think it's going to be a good year. 50 knot taxi. Hey man, it's Denver. These are long taxiways here. I wish there were some clouds like yesterday. Oop, somebody going around. Check that out. That guy's going around. Oh, stop. And I threw everybody out of their seats on that one. All right, we are 11 minutes behind schedule. We got anybody on final? Nope. Denver Traffic United 313, lining up 16 left. All right, let's light it up. I got all my lights bound except the wing light, unfortunately, but that's bound. We got a guy on final, so we'll hurry it up. I know Sam is back there somewhere. There he is. The beauty in this sim is undeniable. Undeniable. All right, we're going to take it on the roll. Actually, no, we're not going to take it on the roll because we want to hear the engine sounds. 16 left is confirmed. Since we're going full yoga, I'm going to go ahead and just stop here on the center line. We'll put it out here. Actually, since we got traffic on this side, we'll do it on this side. All right. I need maximum yogas in chat. Enjoy the departure. Here we go. Spool them up 50. Oh, yeah. Man, Toga SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. Oh, I made someone else go around. My bad. Might be AI traffic. 80 knots. Thrust set. I'm loving these roll sounds. Hitting turtles, that's what those thumps are. V1, rotate. Whoa, leaped off the ground there. Positive rate. Gear up.
Denver traffic, Walker 428 on a 5 mile finder for 17 right. Denver traffic.
Nice. Gotta get up to our acceleration altitude. Climb. Toga autopilot 1. We are in climb mode. And we are accelerating to 250 knots. There's our S speed. Flap 0 after takeoff checklist.
Denver traffic, Airbus 1230 Foxtrot, lining up 16 left.
Goodbye, Denver. All right, I'm going to turn down the sim a little bit. Awesome. Chris Scott, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Just departed Denver International. On our way to Burbank, California. Look at that thing of beauty right there. The sun. Goodness. I'm gonna make sure everything is kosher in here. We should have taken off the terrain mode on. That's on me. And I can go ahead and disarm the spoilers as well. Chrono's working. Actually, it looks like it started when you blocked off the gate. Is that when that starts? Interesting. Let's see. We're 1,000 feet. Or no, we're 10. We're at 10. So let's go ahead and... The landing taxi can come off. And wing light can come
Denver
off.
traffic, Mountain 1, taxi runway 8 via Bravo Sierra Mike, Denver.
Alright, what's our departure? We are on... Denver traffic, United 313, right of 11,000, off to the west. Last call, Denver.
Denver traffic, Mountain 2612, taxi runway 8 via Bravo Sierra Mike.
12-6, climbing
Traffic
210.
123 Sierra Foxtrot, taking off 16 left.
A lot of guys taking off behind us. That must be one of those Airbuses that... Whoa.
Denver traffic,
Oh,
Walker
fair
428, clear 17 right, taxi to the gates via Mike, Denver traffic.
Man, it is a busy day in Denver. One guy on departure. There's a guy on final. I think there's a guy rolling down there. This guy's probably the guy that we made go around. United Old Livery? You got it, man. This is United Battleship Gray, my favorite all-time United livery. What do you think about the A320? Does it require a separate type rating? Yes, it does, Stefan. The A320 is a different airframe in general, so you need a new type rating, you need training for it. Totally different than the Airbus. But the sounds on this plane are on fire. There's 16. We're going to go ahead and set our cruise altitude now all the way up to flight level 380. The sounds, everything that you click in here is just awesome. Optimum is 39, so we're going to go at 38. Cruise is 380. That looks good. Nothing to clear and copy here. Estimated fuel on board 2.9 kilos. I have no idea what that means. Probably a little under 9,000 pounds, maybe. Should be plenty of gas. We do have an alternate. Burbank, that'll be a whole nother situation. It'll be dark by the time we get there since we're late. 0145 is our estimated arrival time. So we're about 10 to 15 minutes late off the gate there, so that ought to make for an interesting approach into Burbank. There's 18,000. We'll go ahead and set standards, STDs for you and me, and we'll set standard over here as well. Where are you at? Click spot. Fine. You know what? I'll just do it this way. That is too... I mean, there's another traffic coming into Denver. These guys make me blush. It is straight juicy, man. Straight juicy. Stefan says, thank you. As a passenger, I like the 220 a lot. Stefan, yeah, I think I've only been on the 220 once as a passenger. And I took a look at the cockpit when I walked on. There's a lot of glass up there, but that's my only experience with the 220. And actually, we had to go back to the gate for maintenance. But I know as a passenger, it is a pretty sweet airplane to be on. It's pretty comfortable. We'll see what happens if the Airbus gets its 319 NEO out. We'll see if it can compete. There is orders out there for it. We'll see what happens. Are you an actual 320 pilot? Yes, I am. Make that heavy chop passing 250, says Mark. All right, man, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep the seatbelt sign on. So that's another real-world thing here. When you're departing Denver, oh my gosh, look at the snow-capped mountains over here. This is where this sim just blows me away. We'll go outside. We'll turn us around. Where should we park it? Let's park it right here. as we get ready. We're chasing the sunset over the snow-capped Rockies. So anytime you're coming in and out of Denver, that seatbelt sign comes on pretty quick, because you know going over these mountains you're going to get a lot of mountain wave turbulence, or there's a lot of disruption into the airflow and the jet stream at certain times of the year that can really cause for some turbulence. You can see the airplane's already starting to bounce around as we're climbing out. That's very true to real life as well. Hotshot says, oh yeah, SimBrief is using the CEO. That's the one that I used, had a CEO. I don't have any NEO profiles yet in SimBrief either, so that's, yeah, that's I think what you're getting at. I think there are some 321 NEO profiles on the Discord. Somebody posted them for SimBrief that you can use, where they've adjusted the fuel burn for X-Plane. I don't know about FS2020 yet. AA just restarted their MAX. Yeah, their MAX ops are out of MIA yesterday. Pretty crazy. I saw Air Canada had an in-flight engine shut down. That's pretty funny. But I mean, taking the beauty in on this one here is unreal. All right, while we're climbing out, let me get my... I'm already prepped. I took pictures of the questions that I want to go over. We got quite a few, and if we get past those, we can always dig into some more stuff. But we'll wait till we get up to cruise for that. But this is just amazing. The snow textures, proper snow textures over the ground. Clearing a million this evening. I wish if United used Battleship livery as a retro. Me too, man. I miss this livery. I think they. I don't think they do, because I think 9/11 I think had something to do with them changing the livery. So that's probably why you don't see it. Anthony says, I can't get over the fact that I could randomly get on a 320 in real life and possibly V1. You got it, man. And there's a possibility. Navy Land Sub, Microsoft is so beautiful. It is, man. This is where this sim is ready for the future. And the way these fly-by-wire mod guys keep working on these airplanes, it may very well become the future a lot sooner than we think. Let me go to my window view here as we get ready to go over the window. I just love having this window view too. Snow and Microsoft is just, yep, straight up juice, man. Straight juice for this one. What flight controller do you use? A joystick or a yoke? I use a joystick. I use the Thrustmaster Warthog stick for all my Airbus flying and DCS flying, and then I use the Honeycomb flight control yoke for any yoke aircraft. Christopher Levin says, I'm not sure how it is in the latest fly-by-wire 320 version, but the fuel burn seems to be off by 20 or so percent to the low side. Interesting. I haven't done enough flights with this airplane yet, and since it's in kilos, right now we're burning 1,000 kilos an hour, so around 3,000-ish pounds. Seems about right for a NEO. And we're chasing that sunset though, so that sun is getting higher because we're chasing it. That's pretty cool. Still getting bumped around. We'll leave that seatbelt sign on for now. See those wings flexing. But it seems to be, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That looks correct to me anyway at first glance. I'd have to do more flying with it. Did I go through the military? Did you pay for your flight training? I paid for my flight training, man. I was not military, so I did the civilian route. What shaders or add-ons do you have in P3D? P3D, the only thing I have is, I think the Orbix land class or whatever, where it basically changes the ground a little bit to better than default, and I have Active Sky for P3D, and that's it. And then I just have the FS Labs and an airport here or there. But I really haven't invested any money into P3D just because, like I said in that last stream, it's going to take a lot of money and time to get that sim up to speed. Now, if you have the money and time for it, more power to you. But personally, when I look out the window of this sim right here and I see this view, I know this is where the future is with flight simulation. Robin says, thanks for that info. You got it, man. I'm looking at the honeycomb yoke for X-Plane, but I found everything is still sold out. Yeah, there's a lot of shortage of peripherals right now. Everybody's got stuff on back order. But I'm happy with the honeycomb yoke. I think you'll enjoy it. I think it is the staple yoke now for flight simulation if you're looking for a yoke. I can change to kg and pounds in the McDo? Really? Does it actually work? Let me see. McDo options. What? Are you serious? Wow, look at that. 2,300 pounds a side of 32,000. Wow, 14,000. Oh my gosh. Do you know how long it took for a lot of X-Plane devs to get pound? We still don't have pounds in the flight factor. We still don't have pounds in a lot of airplanes. Tolis has it now, which is awesome. But to be able to toggle that is huge. A gross weight 145.3 with 14,900 pounds of fuel. That is awesome. Look at that. See, I got to spend more time in this airplane, man. So now we're planning on landing with 5.8. That's about right. That's about right. That's too cool. Oh man, look at this view here. I want to go outside, but I like the inside view. This window. Berto360, what's up, man? He says, good morning, everyone. Greetings from LAX. Berto, thank you for the $5 donation, man. Welcome to the stream, my friend. We're just climbing up to cruise altitude, then we're going to bust out the old orbit or the old Airbus knowledge questions. Thank you for your support on the channel, man. Greetings from LA. Is it rainy out there? Well, no, I was looking at the weather earlier. It looked like there was some clouds. I don't know if we're going to have a problem in Burbank or not, but that gentle random camera rocking on the window, I know, man. It is so juicy. I know we love our passenger cabins, but having this quality of window, I mean, this window looks so real. I mean, you got the scratches, the smudge marks, I remember putting their forehead on it, including me when I was little. You got fingerprints down here. It's just awesome. I mean, we can go outside too and enjoy going over the top, but I like seeing the rocking of the oh, that's a cool shot right there. Show us to get pounds again. I went to McDo options, and then I just changed from kg to pounds. I'll show you again when I go back in the cockpit, man. Structural Shock says there's a lot of people flight simming during the pandemic. You got it, man. That's why I got my mugs out. Exclamation point Rona. If you want a special pandemic flight simmer mug, it says I sim through the 2020 pandemic, and you got the V1 logo in the background. Wow, that was pretty close there. A little Southwest coming by. 1,000 feet separation. Chris Scott says, V1, I got a question. Why do American Airlines Airbus planes have to turn their strobe lights on when airborne and not on the ground when lining up the runways? Can you answer that for me? Why do American Airlines Airbus planes have to turn the strobe lights on when airborne and not on the ground when lining up? So, Chris, it will depend. So, we actually have a question. I actually have this question for my Airbus study questions about the auto mode and what it does. But the usage of lights will probably be airline specific or company specific. Now, the strobe lights, depending on where you work, sometimes they're required to be turned on when you enter the runway. And matter of fact, the FAR-AIM suggests that you use your strobes when entering the runway to have maximum visibility. Now, if you leave them in auto, they won't illuminate until. It's a good question. I'm gonna save it for the questions we get in flight, because we're going to talk about the lighting on the Airbus. But it basically just depends what your airline wants. If they want you to turn it on, have maximum visibility, or they want you to keep it on auto mode. Now, the thing with auto mode is it's nice if you're holding short of the runway and there's somebody on the runway that's lined up and their strobes are going off. It can be very bright and very disorientating. But the thing is, there's been accidents where planes have landed on top of other airplanes before. So, the safest course of action is to turn them on when you enter the runway. Now, if I'm going to line up, and let's say I'm in Philly or somewhere where there's a bunch of planes right off my wingtips holding short of the runway, and I'm in a lineup and wait situation, I'll probably hold off on the strobes until I get my takeoff clearance, and then I will turn them on. It just kind of depends. And even then, that kind of makes me nervous, because by definition, depending on where you work, you may have to have them on when you enter that runway no matter what. So again, that's one of those questions that are tough to blanket statement, give you an answer, because it could be company specific, could be country specific as well. I know Europe has a lot of strict rules with their lights, and even their ice lights in particular. When you're flying in Europe, that you're not really supposed to use them. In the US, we turn those on right away as well. So it will just depend. Hi, Cap, what's your internet speed? So I get 10 up and 50 down, I believe. But the problem is it's a Wi-Fi connect. It's like a satellite internet, right? So there is no hardwire. I mean, I've got my computer hardwired to my modem, or I'm sorry, to my router. But the house has a little satellite dish on it, and we receive because we're out pretty far in the sticks. Now, I used to have fiber, which is 1,000 down, 1,000 up. That was amazing. Right now, internet's doing pretty good. We haven't dropped any frames. I don't know if we were in 1080p, if that would be the case or not. I still got to do more testing on it. But I have signed up for, what was that like X Space or something, where they're trying to get better internet for rural folk out in the country. So Fuzzy, what's up, man? He says, do you happen to know what that shiny metallic vent panel on top of the pylon engine is for? Seen when you're on the wing of view. Oh, right up here? This is just a blow-off vent. That's just a blow-off vent up top. I actually don't know the technical definition for it. Someone in the chat may know, but I think you're referring to this right here. I know you can get excess bleed if it's super cold outside and you start up the engines. You can see, depending on what the temperature and humidity is, you can actually see the air venting overboard here on engine start if it's cold enough outside, if you got that right temperature dew point spread. SpaceX Starlink, thank you. That's what I already signed up for their beta program or whatever, and they got my information, so hopefully I'll hear something in the near future. I would love to get Starlink. We'll see. Carter says jitter latency with wireless, which drops packets, or it could be usage of the remote end if there's a lot of people trying to send that at the same time. Yeah, so and I was told when I had the internet installed that the tower that we use is already pretty much maxed out. So that's why I stream kind of at off times now, because I try to do it when people are at home. When people are at work and not at home on their computers, because I think then it has a tendency to overload the network and we can get issues. But in the real world, I'm a captain, man. Is the TCAS fully on? Let's take a look at it. Looks like we leveled at 380. We're still getting bumped around here. Everything else looks good up top. We'll leave the seatbelt signs on. Let me see. Is the TCAS fully on? Whoa, we're getting bumped around pretty good. Traffic is to all. That is on. Altitude reporting on. TARA. I think that's how it's supposed to be set up for VATSIM, right? And I've got Mode C enabled on my VATSIM panel here. All right, let's go ahead and zoom our range out. We'll leave the seatbelt sign on for now. We're 7A Mach. If it gets any worse, then we'll have to maybe slow it up a little bit. But I'm going to get my questions out here. I hope you guys brought your knowledge. We're going to do some good discussions today, and I actually just finished all my distance, we call it distance learning, where you do your learning at home for return to the line, and I've got some questions that I picked out that we're going to talk about. What is the thing on the yellow with two holes sticking up? I think you're talking about the hoist point. Is that what you're talking about? So right here, this is just if you need to lift the wing. It's a structural part on the wing where you can attach a piece of equipment, hoist point, I guess. I believe it's called a hoist point. Starlink is okay, but once fully deployed, it will all but kill ground-based astronomical telescope observations. Really? Does the 320 NEO still have oscillating issues? I don't have any right now, man. As you can tell, we're flying along here. We're not really oscillating. We're just getting bounced around by turbulence. But other than that, everything seems to be pretty good. So let's set up a view. Let's start off on this view right here as we get ready to leave the front range. Get some water. But yeah, I have not had any oscillation issues. I'll put on my little flight info bar. There we go. Man, we're getting bumped around pretty good here, huh? I'll turn down Microsoft just a tad. I thought they tied the rescue rafts to that yellow prong, so there are points that you can attach the rafts to as well on the wing. It might be dual purpose, and actually that's a good question. We can probably look it up. You know, we can probably look up exactly what all the functions are of that. It's probably multi-use, but it can either be a hoist point or raft attachment, which is something I should probably look into. Because I got to go. So when we go back to line training, we actually go deploy the slides at the hangar, and we got to make sure we can go down the slide and all that. So that'll all be something I'll be doing here very soon. Stefan says, thank you, V1, for sharing your time and knowledge with most of us, at least, armchair pilots hoping for a lot of flying in 2021. Stefan, thank you for the $5 donation, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support, and I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Yes, there's going to be a lot of flying in 2021. So, in fact, the reason why we're going to Burbank today is I actually noticed Burbank is on my schedule, and I'm just like, come on, man. Burbank is one of those airports where it's just, ugh. We'll talk all about Burbank. I'm going to go over my real-world procedures for you at Burbank, and what we're going to try to do is as twitchy as this airplane can be, I'm going to try to do it real. Like, we have to be down at a certain spot, or else we're going to do a go around. So we'll get into that as we get a little bit closer. For now, let's go ahead and let's start talking about some systems of the airplane here. This is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. And since we're in the fly-by-wire mod, I figured what better place to start than fly-by-wire laws in the Airbus. A lot of you come to this channel learning Airbus, trying to figure out, what's the difference between Airbus and Boeing. And the most distinct advantage, in my opinion, is the modeling of fly-by-wire in Airbus aircraft. So let's talk about fly-by-wire systems a little bit here. All right. So before I get too much into the questions, let's review a little bit about the laws. So we have several flight control laws. We've got normal law, which is where 99% of all your flying is going to be in. We have alternate law. Then we have direct law and mechanical backup. Now, without getting into all this detail, because you really don't need to know too much about that alternate and mechanical backup stuff, is just know that in normal law, the airplane is very protected from mistreatment, misuse of angle of attack, and it protects the flight crew, and it protects the aircraft from getting into bad situations. So we've got a couple protections in normal law, one of which is high-speed protection. So my question for you guys is, if I'm sitting up here in cruise like I am right now, and I were to just firewall the thrust levers, what would happen to the airspeed? What would happen to the aircraft when the airspeed went into its MMO, or never exceed speed? For those that have been around the channel, maybe you know. I'll give you an answer. So what would happen if I put max thrust on the engines right now in cruise with the autopilot on in normal law? Coyote's been removed. He probably streams Fortnite. Sam comes in, autopilot disconnect. That is correct. Rusty says it would pitch up. Yes, it would. Pitch goes up, AP disconnect. There you go. So, Civ8 says the airplane will increase the pitch and nose up, and autopilot disconnect. You guys are all correct there. Now, it won't idle the thrust. I'm going to butcher your name, man. Quinju, I'm going to call you Ju. The thrust will not retard, actually. It will maintain. If I were to physically move the thrust levers to Toga, the airplane does not have the capability to idle those engines. But what it will do is what everybody has said is it will pitch up. And in the real airplane, there's actually a little green symbol up here, which it symbols the protections of the high-speed protection. And what happens is the airplane will get to that point. You'll hear the MMO go off, or the overspeed warning. And then once it reaches that protection, the autopilot will kick off, and the aircraft will pitch up to maintain exactly where that protection is to prevent the airframe from becoming structurally damaged due to overspeed. Now, I got a little story about that. Is when I was flying the airplane one night on a pretty long transcon. I think we were going, I can't remember where we were going. I know we got East Coast to almost West Coast. We were going to Denver, actually, somewhere from Florida. And we were just sitting up there late night. It was midnight. And we came across a wind shift that just rocked the airplane, and we went from sitting right at 7.8, 7.9 Mach to overspeeding, and the airplane actually tripped its protection. And now we do this in the sim all the time. You do it every time you get in the sim and you do your recurrent training, you get to see the sim do the protections. But I had actually seen it firsthand in the airplane, and I will tell you that it is actually a pretty violent reaction. I mean, the airplane, it just goes right into that pitch up mode. It trims up, it keeps it within the G load. And, when you're sitting there 2-3 hours into a flight in the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden your autopilot kicks off and your overspeed warning goes off and the airplane starts climbing, you really get a nice shot of adrenaline. So we were able to recover the airplane. Of course, that's a maintenance ride-up, and there's really, in that situation, there's really nothing that you could do. I mean, we were in moderately smooth air. It wasn't glass, but it was smooth enough to where we could still maintain 7.8, 7.9 Mach without having to worry about running into that barber pole. And that barber pole is just that red speed tape there I referred to. So it was pretty incredible to see, thinking back on it, to see the airplane actually do exactly what it was designed to do to prevent structural damage. So hopefully you never have to experience that in real life, but that was definitely a ride up. Had to ride it up and make a couple phone calls, be like, yeah, man, we just hit a wind shift, and it rocked us pretty good. So if you're ever flying in an Airbus in the middle of the night and all of a sudden your airplane starts climbing randomly, you might have hit a wind shift. So that's a little story for you. Mark says, if you're at 370, let's say autopilot will pitch up. What if it's near your max altitude, pitches up, and you don't have the performance? Why not just deploy speed brake to slow down? So Mark, so the airplane is pitching up to reduce the speed. It's not really concerned about your altitude no more. And that's what's also dangerous, is because when you're in the real world and you're flying on those airways, you probably have traffic above you. So getting that climb, yes, it's not good. You want to make sure you react. And these protections are all there to, prevent structural damage. But if you can interact or react fast enough as a flight crew, what was that? Oh wow, that's cool. That was just a little message on the VATSIM. If you react fast enough as a flight crew, you should be able to remedy the situation. And yes, speed brakes are something that we utilize to get the, to slow it back down, get her back under control. But that's initially what you got to do, because if you disconnect the autopilot, or the autopilot's disconnected, what you need to do is slow that speed down without climbing, and the way to come out of that protection is to get that speed down. But it's not looking at your altitude, your max altitude. All it's looking is to try to reduce speed. But yeah, that is one of your memory items. Get those speed brakes out. Gaming Ninja, what's up, man? He says, hello, hope everyone was okay this fine Wednesday. Ninja, hope you're doing well, my friend. We're entering cruise. We're talking about fly-by-wire in the fly-by-wire mod Airbus. All right. So another fun question that we have is the load factor limitation. We're not going to talk about all these limitations because they get pretty technical, but I think it's interesting. So another, major concern when you're flying an airplane at high speed is G loading. So you don't want to over G an airframe, because in reality, the most dangerous thing you can do to an aircraft is overstress it, right? If you have an engine failure, you can deal with it, you can fly. If you have a dual engine failure, you're still flying. You can get on the ground in a controlled manner. Now, if you may not be on a runway, but it's still controlled. You know, a fire is probably the second most dangerous thing, but it ties into the first most dangerous thing, and that's structural damage. And the reason structural damage is the worst, in my opinion, is because you can't remedy it, right? If you rip a wing off, there's nothing you can do. Like, you are got a one-way ticket down, and you're not going to be able to control it. So structural damage is very important to be aware of. So that's why you got that overspeed protection. We also have load factor limitation on the aircraft. So it actually has a G protection. And the G limitations are, I don't know if you guys probably don't know this, so I'm just going to tell you. The positive G load is 2.5 Gs. So if I were to pull full aft on the stick in the real airplane right now, what would happen is the airplane would actually limit the load factor to 2.5 Gs. Now the negative G load is minus 1 G. So even if I push full forward on the stick, it's going to minimize the G to negative 1 G. Now that will actually change slightly with the flaps or slats extended. So from 2.5 positive Gs to negative 1 G, if you have the flaps or slats extended, that will reduce to 2 Gs and 0 negative Gs. And that has to do with structural limitation on the flap track and making sure that the flaps don't become damaged if you entered some situation where you needed to recover the airplane and you were almost overstressing the airframe and your flaps are out. You got to prevent structural damage, right? So the flaps become limiting if they're extended. So the airplane is smart enough to know what G load it has to protect. So you can literally grab that stick and move it, and it would protect it and keep it within the envelope. So there's a lot more with normal law protections. We're not going to get into them too much. But I do have one question for you. So we know what makes fly-by-wire great is you can just roll the airplane into a bank and let go of the side stick, and the airplane will essentially maintain that bank. Some people refer to this as bank angle hold. It's not a true bank angle hold, because you have to think that when you are rolling the airplane or you add lateral side stick input, you're actually commanding a roll rate. So if I command a roll rate to the left and I let go of the stick, now I command 0 roll rate. So the airplane will stop rolling wherever I let go. Let's say I go to 10 degrees and I let it go. All right, the airplane's going to hold that 10-degree bank to the left. If I enter turbulence and the airplane rocks to 20 degrees bank, what would happen? Would the airplane go back to 10? Or would it maintain the new 20-degree bank as caused by the turbulence? So that's my question, is if I'm rolling 10 degrees, I let go of the stick and it's holding 10 degrees, I hit turbulence, the airplane rolls to 20 degrees. Will the airplane auto-correct back to 10, or will it maintain that new bank angle induced by the turbulence? Hotshot says, remind me of a cruise APU story. Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you that. I'll tell you that after this question right now. Thanks for reminding me, dude. Gaming Ninja says, I assume the max limitations that pilots earn are in fact way below the actual. Yeah, and Ninja, what we learned is you're absolutely correct. And that is for increased protection. Mantha Esports says maintain. It'll hold to 20. No, it maintain 20. Airbus 737 says it would go back to 10. Side stick neutral, maintain because you're not commanding any roll. There you go. Sam, you guys are all right, and Sam actually nailed it. About the side stick, so I'll explain that. Some said go back to 10, the majority said hold 20. The correct answer is it will actually maintain that new bank angle of 20 degrees. And the reason for that being is if I roll to 10 and let go of the side stick, that means I'm commanding 0 roll rate, right? So if the airplane gets induced to 20 degrees bank, I'm still commanding 0 degrees roll rate. So the airplane will maintain that 20 degrees as induced by the turbulence. That's something to kind of keep an eye on if you're hand flying on approach, maybe a circle to land, and you're getting bumped around. I've noticed this mostly in, what airport was that, where you got a really tight circle coming in? I think it was somewhere in South America. If they land a certain way, you're really coming in and it's pretty turbulent, and you'll really notice that because you try to roll in, you kind of hold it, command 0 roll rate, you get bumped into 25 degrees or whatever. It will maintain that because you are not commanding any roll rate. So the airplane's like, okay, well, we somehow got to 20, but he's not commanding roll rate, so we're going to just maintain 20. But there you go. Sam was pretty much right on. Dougal says, I got to bail. Sorry, I'll catch the rest later. Not a problem, Dougal. Take it easy, man. Thank you for stopping by. But the correct answer is it will maintain that new bank angle induced by the turbulence. All right. So we'll take a quick break from that. Ooh, definitely hit some turbulence there. Let's talk. I want to tell you guys a little APU story. So, back in my regional days, I was on a 190 and I was doing some captain training, and my check airman decided to do the walk around for me. And I was always told that, you know, it's courteous of the captain to not start the APU when the first officer is doing the walk around. And, you know, there's no limitation, there's no like really safeguard, you know, it's not a safety issue, it's just a courtesy, because when the APU spins up, you get the packs that spin up. It's very loud. The APU itself can be very loud, and especially on some of the ones on the Embraer, the 170s, the 170s, not the 175s. I can't remember which APU they had. Maybe that's where I was confusing with the Sunstrand APU, but some of them really had a whine to them. So, I mean, it would be almost deafening as you walk underneath it. So, I was always told, you know, be courteous to your FO, don't start the APU when he's doing the walk around. I got busy. Something, you know, probably a flight attendant came up and said, hey, it's cold here, can you get the APU fired up? So the particular airplane that we were on just had an APU swap. So I guess it had a bad APU and they just replaced it, and there were some issues with it. It hadn't been started. Freezing cold outside, so I was like, oh, I'm going to fire up the APU. Totally forgetting that the check airman was doing his walk around for me, which, you know, he could have easily said, hey, you need to go do it. You know, but he was just being nice and whatever. So there I am sitting up there in the front, fat, dumb, and happy. The APU's spooling up, and I heard it was strange because from up front you never really hear the APU light off. You don't hear the igniters, but in the back, if you're outside, you hear everything. You hear the you hear the doors, you hear everything. You hear the chick, 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 and then of course the light off. This particular time, I'm sitting there and I hear a boom. And it like a muffled thud, and it very much sounded like ignition going off. Like, oh, that must be the APU coming online. Didn't think much of it. A minute or two later, the check airman comes back up to the cockpit. He is pissed. He's like, what are you doing starting that APU with me out there? I was out there underneath that tail cone, and the thing lit off a flame about 6 feet long. Could have burned me, what are you doing, man? And I was like, oh my God, I think I just failed this. I thought I was going to be in big trouble. But there's really nothing in the book that says you can't start the APU with somebody doing a walk around. There's no hazard against it. It just happened to be there might have been some unburnt oil or some unburnt fuel with the maintenance. Now, had I been a more seasoned captain, I probably would have really paid attention to that, especially that the airplane was just in a, you know, had an APU swap and they've been working on it. It might be wise of me to not start it with a check airman outside. But I totally forgot, and I just cranked it off, and apparently that APU shot out flames about 6 feet out the back of the tail, just on the ignition. There was no fire or anything like that, but it really pissed off the check airman, and I was like, man, this flight is going to suck after that. And it sucked. He was a little unhappy with me. He's like, I'm never doing a walk around for guys again. Blah, 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 blah. He was known to be a grumpy crab anyway, so But that was my little APU story. So now I'm extra cautious when starting the APU. I really try not to do it if someone's on a walk around. But on the Airbus in particular, the APU sound is not, it's not super loud when it's starting up, but the packs on the Airbus are almost deafening. So if you walk underneath the wings down there, you're checking the landing gear, doing your walk around, if the packs are running, it's no good. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll start up the APU and I'll just keep the APU bleed off, so the packs don't spin up until the first officer gets back in the flight deck. So that was just a little sidetrack story that I was reminded of when we were talking about APU light offs. But yeah, that's weird. I just got a notification on my cell phone that I'm streaming. Yeah, no kidding. All right, courtesy of YouTube. Phantom 320 says, biggest fireball I ever saw was when I flew the Brasilia. We had came out of a cold soaked plane, like really cold soaked, -20. We tried to start it twice and it failed. Final attempt was a huge fireball and a lot of smoke. Oh man, that Brasilia, man, I can't imagine, dude. That must have been some good times, man. We need to get a study level Brasilia multi-crew. That would be fun, man. Then you could just go to school on me. But that's funny. Yeah, those cold soaked airplanes, man, a lot can happen when you have a cold soaked airplane starting up. I know the 190s, the motors, when they were cold soaked, they really had a loud thump and a lot of smoke would shoot out the tailpipe when they were cold. But that's pretty funny, man. Just if you're ever on a flight and it's super cold, just start looking at the APUs, see if any of them are running. You might be able to get lucky and catch a fireball go off. Scroll. I'm sorry, man. Nightbot timing out links, dude. Sorry, dude. I will. Let's see if I can. What I'll do is I can do this. Is this a fireball link? There you go. I'll post it for you. Drew Stone says, hey V1, at the top where vertical speed shows, you have FPS instead of V speed. Is that on purpose? I have FPS instead of what? Let me see. Let me take a look. Overlay. Nope, that's vertical speed. Those are feet per minute. So what you're seeing jumping back and forth, that's just Sim Toolkit Pro. It's just seeing the because we're not in smooth air right now, right? So it's bumping up and down. So we're getting a little vertical speed movement, but that's normal. That's not FPS. That is indeed feet per minute. All right, let's see here. Get back to our questions. Getting sidetracked. Okay, so is this the last one for? It's pretty much the last one for the laws. So since we talked about, and hopefully we'll understand this now, but what is the definition of pitch and bank in the Airbus? And let me rephrase that. So in normal law, in normal flight mode, what does the side stick command for pitch and roll? It's 4 words would be the answer for it's 2 words for pitch and 2 words for bank. What do you command in the Airbus with normal law in flight mode for pitch and bank? This is if you understand this, then you've pretty much understood the major difference between, say, an Airbus and a Boeing. Does the bird change the heading of laws in the Airbus? eBoss asks. Does the bird change the heading? Oh, the laws of. I'm not quite sure what I think what you're trying to get at is, does it change like heading mode? So the bird is actually track and FPA. So instead of flying a heading, you're actually flying a ground track. Best way to explain that simply would be, if you fly heading to, if let's say you have a crosswind out of the east. Let's say you got a strong east wind, and you have one airplane flying heading 360. He's going to be flying heading 360. His ground track may be to the left. Maybe it's 350. He might be 10 degrees off because of the wind from the right. If you have an aircraft that's in track mode and and you've selected 360 track, the airplane is actually going to track 360 over the ground, so you'll have a divergence. Now, it's standard to fly heading, so ATC takes into account the track differences or whatever, and I'm sure Phantom can elaborate on that when there's crosswinds. But airplanes, we typically all fly in heading mode, so it's all uniform. So everybody on a heading of 360 will all have the same ground track in that area because it has the same wind. How realistic is the FMS and McDo in this aircraft model? It has gotten a lot better. ZBurn? Yeah, ZBurn is. So the fact that you've integrated SimBrief now, you've got 8 digital ATIS that you can request. You've got pretty much all your flight plan stuff works. You can load SIDS and stars and airways the way that you properly should. It is coming a long way since it first came out. It's honestly up there. You know, it's starting to get up there in a much more higher fidelity airplane. I'm very excited to see the progress when they eventually start tweaking the flight model itself. I think that might be the game changer that we've all been waiting for. Who knows? We'll see. But it has come a long ways. There's still things that are not operative, but for the most part, it's really come a long way, man. It's to the point where I enjoy flying it. I mean, you probably can tell, I haven't been flying FS2020 a lot just because I feel like my love still is with the hardcore sim fans, the hardcore Airbus guys that like systems that we have in X-Plane and things like that. So it's been tough for me to make the switch, even though the sim is so beautiful, but seeing the progress on this mod is getting me very close to being like, yep, okay, FS2020 is where we're headed, and then I'll be able to spend a lot more time in it for sure. Phantom says you can actually get in trouble for tracking rather than using heading in some places like Seattle. Yeah. So, exactly. So he's saying that you should be flying in heading mode instead of flying in track mode, because everybody flies in heading mode. That's kind of the standard. Now, when I use the birds, I'm on a visual approach or something, that's one thing. Or track FPA on a localizer, that's fine. You're tracking a course, right? But you got to be careful that you don't accidentally leave it in track mode and start flying vectors from ATC in track mode when you should be in heading mode, because then you're going to be the oddball out. Maybe Seattle's where they want to track, regardless when they're heading, they're accounting for the wind. Right. So he says when you get a vector from air traffic control, you're getting a heading that's already been accounted for wind. Andy says roll rate and turn radius. Roll rate is correct. Turn radius is not correct. So it is, I'll give you the answer. It is roll rate for bank. Remember we talked about that side stick, command a roll rate, then command 0 roll rate, and G load in the pitch axis. So when I pitch the airplane up with the side stick or pitch it down, I am commanding more than 1G. So the airplane is striving to maintain 1G. If I pull back on the stick, I'm saying, hey, I want 1.3 Gs or 1.4 Gs, and it will give me that. And then if I let go, then it will stop and say, okay, it wants to maintain 1G. Here we are. We're going to maintain 1G. So it is G load and roll rate. That is what is the defining answer for pitch and bank when you fly an Airbus aircraft. It is roll rate and G load. All right, let's take a look, see how we're doing up here, up front. Level 380, we just made the turn. I think it's smoothing out. Let's see if we can go ahead and get that seatbelt sign off. Did we lose the sun already? Not quite. We're getting ready to fly over the canyon. There we go. We'll leave it outside for a little bit. All right, so here's a question. in flight, the THS, or trimmable horizontal stab, is always trimming, right? You know, it's trimming up, trimming down, and it's doing that roll, it's doing that, excuse me, G load, right? It's always looking for that 1G. So when we land, when do we reset the THS? Because, you know, we set trim prior to takeoff, but after we land, when do we reset the THS? Pilot says, is a ground spoiler or more missing from the wing? I believe that there is. I think there is a ground spoiler that is missing. We should have 2 through 5 and then a ground spoiler. I think we do have one missing on the model. I noticed that a while ago. So when does the THS reset? When does it reset, or do we reset it? That's my question to you guys. You can see it back here. It almost looks like it's working. Trying to maintain that maintain that 1G as we get bumped around. Don Altimus comes in. Ryan Breaker says, I think it resets itself, doesn't it? THS resets on landing. Cactus 1549. There you go. I always see the trim moving. You got it. The THS will reset after landing, after the landing phase is complete, after the landing logic. So it will automatically reset. That's why you never have to, you know, reset the trim, scroll your trim back after landing. It will automatically reset. And that's one of those things that you want to check when you're doing a walk around. Make sure that THS did reset to 0. And on the real airplane, there's actually a gauge back here. I don't know if it's implemented or not. Can't really see it. But no, like right here, you would have a gauge. You'd have 0, and then you'd have some tick marks up and some tick marks down. And then on your walk around, that's one thing you definitely want to check. You want to make sure that your THS has reset to 0. There you go. All right, last question with fly-by-wire stuff. Last question. If I'm sitting like we are right now in cruise, and I were to just pull full back on the side stick, we know it'll maintain that 2.5 Gs, so we won't overstress the airframe. What is the maximum pitch that I can attain if I just yank full back on the side stick in flight, in cruise? There is a pitch limitation. How many degrees can I pull up before it shuts me off? Jay Smith, I just saw your question. You got a good one. If holding a bank, does it adjust G-load to maintain altitude? It doesn't do it to maintain altitude. Remember, it adjusts G-load to maintain that 1G. So if you go into bank and you let go, it will maintain 1G. So if you're in level flight and you roll in, it will maintain level flight. If you're at 5 degrees up, it will maintain 5 degrees up. Now, one thing you gotta, as we get more advanced, there's actually a limitation at 33 degrees angle of bank. You no longer have that auto THS moving. So once you pass 33 degrees angle of bank, then you have to manually increase back pressure to maintain level flight. Wow, we're getting bumped around pretty good. We're gonna have to turn the seatbelt sign back on. Oh yeah, a lot of guys coming in there. 30 degrees angle of, or 30 degrees pitch. That is the maximum pitch. You got it. 30 degrees. Wow, we're getting bumped around pretty good. Starting to see, how many miles we got left? 343 miles, so we're getting there. We're trucking along, guys. We are trucking along. Look at that wing flex, though. Seatbelt sign is back on. You got it. All right. Yeah, 30 degrees is max. All right, here's a question, a little bit easier. We're going to move on to external light panel. So up to the overhead here, looking at our lights. Let's zoom in on it. So on the nav and logo, we have 1 and 2. Why do we have 2 positions on the nav and logo light switch? There are 2 positions. 1 and 2. Why do we have 2? Why do we have 2 positions? How do you trim when not in normal loss? Stefan, then you would actually use the trim wheel. So you'll actually get a message that says use man pitch trim. That's when you got to use manual trim wheel, just like old school. That old school citation that Phantom's flying. You got to use that trim wheel. Alexander says more personal. Do pilots have a good salary? It depends on where you work, man, and depends on your definition of good salary. You don't do it for the money, I'll tell you that, though. You don't do this job for the money. Carter Joel nailed it right out of the book. Different bulbs. Yeah, there's actually 2 sets of lights. So you have 2 white lights, you have 2 green lights, and 2 red lights on your navigation out on your wingtips. And that is simply to, the FAA requires that you have all your lights working. So if I go out to the airplane and I see that, the nav light, one of the nav lights is out, we'll just switch it to position 2 or go from 2 to 1, and then we can defer the light set that is out. That way you can keep going, and then maintenance will go swap a bulb out. So yeah, you literally have two redundant bulbs for your navigation system. Now you actually don't have redundancy for the logo lights. Those actually have just one set. Once those go out, they got to be replaced. But yep, that is, you got redundancy for that, exactly. And if everything is working normally, it might just be a company thing, or it will depend on the airline too. But if the captain is flying, we'll keep it in position 1. If it's the FO's leg, we'll put it in position 2. That way both sets of bulbs burn equally. All right, what else we got here? All right, so to the strobe question. Back to the strobes. Somebody asked, why do, some guys put it in auto? Why do some guys turn the strobes on? So my question to you is, if I were to put the strobe into the auto position, when will they illuminate? Let's say I get cleared for takeoff, and I put the strobes in auto, and I line up on the runway and I take off. When will the strobes start flashing? Golden State says, I definitely would not be doing this job for the money. Been in love with flying since I was 4. You got it, man. That's awesome. There are some guys that have chased money, I think, in the airline industry, and you can tell when you fly with them. I mean, everybody's got their own personality, and there's some pilots that really love aviation. There's some pilots that maybe they just get burnt out too quick or whatnot. But everyone's different. But for the most part, I don't think you go into aviation saying, oh, I'm going to make a ton of money and go down that road, because it is a huge investment to get started. It's a long path. But that's what kind of breeds that brotherhood is, everyone's still everyone is passionate about the same thing. So the first answer I saw, Don, you might be type-rated on this airplane. I think you're sneaking in here as a type-rated Airbus pilot. Weight off wheels. That is... technically that's correct. But it's not a squat weight. It's actually, yeah, it is, because it has to do with the landing gear compression. So when the struts on the landing gear are no longer compressed, the strobes will begin to flash. So a lot after liftoff, Spirit Wing says, so that would be, after liftoff, you got it, that would be correct as well. So yes, when the weight of the aircraft is off of its wheels, the struts will decompress, and that's when the strobes will be activated. So it has to do with the landing gear compression. So there are some operators that probably say just keep it in auto, and that would prevent, pilots getting disoriented or their night vision getting ruined. If you're holding if you're holding in position, you got your strobes in auto, they're going to turn on once you lift off. So that will just probably depend, vary company, airline to airline, whatever. Some require you to turn it right on no matter what. But yep, it has to do with landing gear compression. Good. All right, this is a trickier question. Let's see who gets this one. If Don gets this one, then I know he's type rated on the airplane. So you'll hear me on my checklist when I come up here and we start doing our before start or before taxi checklist. Seatbelts on, or it was the call is signs, and then the captain responds on and auto. Auto refers to this no smoking switch over here. It's a 3-position switch. It's off, auto, and on. So my question is, why do we put that switch into the auto mode? Why do we put the no smoking switch to the auto mode? This is a tricky question. Maybe some die-hard listeners will know the answer to this one. There's a possibility. There might be some diehards that know this answer. Spirit Wing says we got some center controllers now. That's awesome. Yeah, I see LA Center come online. Sweet. I will wait for a ping. Don says, V1, don't ask me hard questions. I'm 6 months out of a PC. I knew it. See, I knew it. Okay, yeah. Don's coming in with the answers. All right. I'm gonna have to get some hardcore questions for Don. Hotshot comes in with the correct answer as well. So he's got the audio, but yeah, Don is correct. So it allows the emergency exit light. So we don't have a cabin in this airplane, so I can't show you. But you have those placarded exit signs in the airplane, right? So it's like a white sign and then it has exit, and it illuminates. So when the sign is in auto and we retract the landing gear, those exit signs run on battery power and they will actually begin to recharge. So that's why we keep it in auto. If you were to just keep it on, those exit signs won't be able to recharge their batteries, their source of power. So it's to recharge the emergency exit light batteries. That's why we keep it on auto. Aviation Ad's Finest, welcome to the stream, dude. He says, good morning from LA. Awesome stream, V1. Awesome. Thank you very much, Aviation. Welcome aboard, my friend. All right, so Don is he's probably gonna start answering questions. Don, you gotta wait a little bit before you answer. So this is a quick review. We talked about anti-ice, de-ice in the last Back to Work stream. But this is one of the questions that I see a lot pop up in the Discord. On the ground, if we're taxiing around, we know that if there is contaminated runways or taxiways or in the snow, that after engine start, we turn on our engine anti-ice, taxi out to the runway. I said we don't turn on the wing anti-ice on the ground. What would happen if I'm on the ground and I turn on the wing anti-ice? What would happen if I'm on the ground and I turn on the wing anti-ice? Does it run wing anti-ice on the ground? Is it dangerous? Why do we not use wing anti-ice on the ground? Bahamian Pilot, what's up, man? Oh gosh, I just kicked my rudder pedal. Hopefully we're okay. Sorry, everybody in the cabin there. He says, top of the evening, V1, all the way from New York. Bahamian Pilot. Cheers, man. Welcome aboard, dude. Flying Guitar Sam coming in good with an answer. Santi says we'll just test. Performance on engine goes down. Well, that's true. It would go down for a little bit. But you guys are correct. And Jordan, you're correct as well. Yeah, so the wing anti-ice on the ground in the Airbus, it doesn't actually run like you may think. All it does on the ground is it runs a 30-second self-test, and then it will shut off. And again, I think this could be airline specific or company specific, but we're instructed to not use wing anti-ice until airborne in a clean configuration. That means flaps and slats retracted. That's when we're supposed to turn on our wing anti-ice. So typically, you know, if you're in a snowstorm or whatnot, you're going to have Type 4 fluid on your wings. You're going to be protected all the way through your takeoff roll. Once you get airborne, you get those flaps up, slats retracted, then you can go ahead and turn on that wing anti-ice if you're really picking up ice. But that is correct. On the ground, it only does a 30-second test, then shuts off, so you actually cannot run it on the ground. How can you set config 1 on the ground? All you do is extend the flaps on the ground. 1+F comes out. Okay, so in icing conditions, do we need to turn on the probe and window heat? Oh, LA Center. Here we go. 25.8. 25.8. Oops, I gotta come over here. $25.8. We got the radio selected. Let me see if my push to talk works. Yes, it does.
LA Center, November 1230 Foxtrot, flight level 380. November 1230 Foxtrot, LA Center, squawk 7217.
Look at that sun setting. That is beautiful. LA Center, good afternoon. It's United 313, level 380.
United 313, LA Center, squawk 7106, same Mach number.
7106, and we're doing 7A for United 313.
Sure.
Alright, 7106 on the squawk code. 7106. The sky colors are unbelievable in this sim. Yep, that is correct, guys. And nope, it is in auto mode. So you do not need to operate the probe window heat push button when you're flying around. So the only reason that window heat
American
is there...
1954 Heavy, RNF to Docker, runway 25 right, cleared for takeoff.
Turn this guy down
Clear
a
for
little bit.
takeoff, 25 right, RNF to Docker, American 1954.
RNF Docker, that's out of LA. Somebody just took off out of LA. So yeah, in flight, you don't need to do that. They operate in auto mode. On the ground, let's say you come to the airplane and the windows are frosted over, that's when you would turn that push button on. And when you turn that push button on, they actually operate in 2 modes, low mode and high mode. On the ground, when you turn that push button on, the window and probes will actually be heated in their low mode. After first engine start, they will all turn on to their auto mode, and you no longer need it. So that's why you don't have to turn it on the ground. Even if you say you're taxiing on the runway, you got your engine anti-ice on, well, what about my probe and window heat? That's important to have on. That's automatically heated when the first engine is started on the ground. And once you go to flight mode, then it goes
Flight
into high mode.
407, descent at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 240.
All right, so
Descent pilot's discretion and maintain T4 if you're right over into your flight
that
mode.
sunset is unreal.
United 313, radar contact, 27 miles northwest of the Kingman VOR. Do you have the Jenny 5 arrival on board?
Yeah, we can try to plug it in. It was you said Jenny 5?
That's correct.
All right, stand by, United 313. All right, let's see if we can load this in here. We're going to go arrival, Jenny 5.
November 1230 Foxtrot, radar contact, 31 miles north of the Kingman VOR, same Mach number.
We're doing Mach 0.78.
Number 1230 Foxtrot, roger, and do you have the Jenny 5 arrival on board?
We'll try. 1230 Foxtrot.
Right.
Yeah, set up for United 313. Yeah, we've got the Jenny 5 plugged in.
United 313, roger, clear to Burbank Airport via direct Welham, Jenny 5 arrival.
Direct Welham, Jenny 5, United 313. All right, so we're already going to Welham. This is what we refer to as check right corner. So this is our current waypoint. We're already tracking there. We don't need to change that. We've loaded the Jenny 5 RNAV arrival. Godspeed, doing a VNAV descent. We'll give it our best shot, Batman. Here we go. Gosh, I can't get
American
over these views,
1954, radar contact, climb and maintain flight level 390.
Climb and maintain flight level 390, American.
Christopher Levin says, why on the Airbus are only some slats heated and not all of them? So you're correct. The outboard 3 slats are the only ones heated. I don't have an official answer for you. Maybe Don knows, but I would assume that it has to do with performance degradation. So
November
it already
313
takes a
Victor, clear
significant
to
amount
Los
of
Angeles,
performance
Bravo
away from the
airspace. You
airplane.
can join the right downwind for runway
Turn this guy down a little bit
25 left, altimeter 3026.
Audio.
Clear to enter the Bravo airspace, and you said the right downwind for
Turn them down
25
even
left.
more. So
That's right.
I would imagine if you try to heat all the slats,
enter the downwind
that it
for,
would be
25
a
left.
significant performance hit.
31.
Also, I think aerodynamically speaking, it's probably not that important. I don't know what the wind tunnel test proved or whatnot, but maybe aerodynamically speaking, they don't need these as well. As long as those outboard 3 are heated, you're good to go. Now, in my severe icing story I told you guys, after we landed, yeah, you definitely saw ice on these slats right here. So they're definitely not heated. It's only the outboard 3, and then for the engines, it's only that lip. Phantom says, you guys are noobs. I'm the only one who filed the Janny 5. Phantom, we're not all air traffic controllers, man. I just do it, I'm just a robot, man. I just, whatever SimBrief tells me, that's good enough for me. I like to make the ATC work, But yeah, good stuff, good stuff. All right, let's see here. Last couple questions, reviewing the de-ice, anti-ice. My little girl's ready. She's excited to do some anti-ice, de-ice reviews. So we talked about wing anti-ice, outboard 3 slats. We know the engine anti-ice heats this leading edge of the engine nacelle. So let's talk about quick failure of that system. The wing anti-ice valves. Let's say that our wing anti-ice valve failed.
Gate Alpha 4 ready to taxi.
If my wing anti-ice failed, which position would the valve close? Would it fail closed and prohibit me to get any anti-ice out here? Or would it fail open and always run heat to the outboard 3? So that's my question. If the wing anti-ice fails, which position would that valve fail? Open or closed? Gosh, this sim is beautiful, man.
That's forward, self-tax for it. Get it.
Don says performance degradation, hence why we turn the wings off for a go-around. Yep, there you go. That's exactly what I'm thinking, man.
I'm like 2620 LA Center, squawk 7170.
7170. Gosh, that is beautiful sky colors. Unreal. I mean, even the cockpit shot here, just with the sun, the mirage of the sun, I might just leave it in the cockpit view. Fuzzy Contour says fail open. Foobar's closed. There you go. Is correct. The first one I saw.
23 LA Center, squawk 7.
So they actually fail closed. You guys, everyone who said closed is correct. Yeah, the wing valves fail closed. Again, that has got to be performance related. If you have a problem, they want you to get your engines performing as best as they can, and you'll actually get an ECAM memo that says avoid icing conditions if that wing anti-ice fails. Now, Jump and Run already jumped the gun. That's probably very fitting for his name. Jump and Run to Jump and Gun. The engine anti-ice valves will fail in the open position. So if the engine anti-ice fails, they will fail open, providing constant heat to that leading edge of the engine nacelle. So that is for protection of your power plants, right? Because if those fail closed, if they were to fail closed and you can't protect your engines, if that starts building ice on there and then that ice starts to break off and get ingested into the engine, you can really start causing problems. You can get compressor stalls, you can damage the fan blades, all kinds of stuff. So it's very important to keep those engines protected. So in a worst case scenario, your engines will remain heated, your wings will not. Try to avoid icing conditions if you can, and get her on the ground. But Jump and Run, the good jumping the gun there, man. All right, we should probably start paying a little bit more attention. What do we got? 213 miles. Let's take a break from those questions. I want to go over some preparations for Burbank for you.
Are you?
Let me pull up my Burbank charts. References. Special procedures.
Okay, Roger. South of 323 cross.
All right, let's pull that up and approach RLS 8. Let's pull up the weather. So the only thing that I can't do in this one here is print my weather. I wonder if that's possible for the FlyByWire team, is be able to hook up your little USB printer. Let's see. So Burbank arrival, send it. Let's see what the weather is, and then we're going to start looking at our approach preparation here. Is it possible to pop out the PFD and ND? I don't think so. There might be if I go into dev mode, I think I can. I think somebody told me that. Christopher Levin says, how severely does anti-ice degrade performance? So the wing anti-ice is a pretty big hit, and we actually have limitations that
United 313, descend via Janny 5 arrival, Burbank altimeter 3025.
All right, descend via the Janny 5, 3025 for United 313. Well, let me pull up my Janny 5 really quick. Bottom is Wabbit at 6,000. We'll set 6,000 in the box. And Godspeed here. We'll figure this out. We got our message back. So they actually tell us that if a final approach, go ahead and turn your wing anti-ice off so you have that performance for second segment climb numbers in the event of a go-around. So it is a significant impact on the airplane. And you can visually see, if you monitor your engine instruments and turn on the wing anti-ice, you'll see the fuel flow increase. ATC volume's a bit loud. There's not much I can do about it, man. I got it turned down almost all the way.
American 1472.
There's just some guys are louder than others. Hotshot says press right alt and click any display. It will plop out.
American
Really?
1472 LA Center Squawk 7315.
Oh my gosh.
7315.
That is amazing. So now we can actually leave this window up when I'm on approach so you guys can see what I'm doing. Look at that. That is awesome. That is awesome. See? That's awesome. Thank you for that. I didn't know that. Let's see. ATC, AOC, receive messages. What do we got here? Burbank. See, I should be able to go print, and I print that off my 3D printer, or not 3D printer, thermal printer. 10 miles, 13, clear skies, 3025 on the meter, ILS 8 approach and use, that's what we're planning. Land and hold short, not much holding short on runway 8.
That is 313, proceed direct to Copal. It's Kilo Oscar, Bravo, Lima Echo.
And if you're not 313 for VNAV purposes, any chance we can just remain on the arrival?
Yeah, United 313, that's fine.
Alright, thanks. Yeah, it's FS2020. Who knows what happens when I start going direct.
Alright, fair enough.
So we're going to stay on the arrival because I want to actually test this VNAV here. I don't want to go direct to. It may handle it just fine, but he was actually giving me a shortcut, but in real life, definitely always take that. I forget what I was going to ask now. Oh yeah, the weather. 3025, we already set that. Let's look at our LS approach here. We'll set this up. And back down here. We've got 8 in the box. Next phase approach 30.
And United 2480, LA Center, expect the PDC, expect runway
temperature, what was it, 14?
I'll
have to, not that critical. Winds were calm, 0 for 0. Alright, approaches. ILS 8. It's a DA of 1075. 1075. And then I have to go over my company ops for you guys. So 1075, config full, VAP is 134. Our trans altitude is going to be 18,000 feet. Let me look at the star. So our first one off of Willem is Krem at 240, and I think I saw that in the box.
Descending at Janie 5 arrival, Burbank altimeter 3025.
Can I pop out this? Oh wow. Oh wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Alright, so now I can, now you guys can see what I'm looking at here.
Left, clear to land.
Jones, Donut, John.
Clear to land, runway 25 left, 313 right there.
Interesting here. Joe's. I thought we were on the Wellham transition. So it looks like it loaded from the wrong transition there. I see what ATC was doing, so I actually, I think I loaded it from the wrong transition. Because Wellham, it should go Wellham, Krem, Donut. We're going Joe's, Donut, John. Oh well. That looks fine. 240 at Joe's. I don't know why it says Bugga. 722.
Stop 323. Descend via Sunset 4 arrival. Expect.
Oh, you guys can't see the window. Oh, I know why you guys can't see the window. It's because it's picking up. It's not integrated with Streamlabs. I see. All right, I might be able to fix that next time. So I was actually looking at an integrated window. That's all right. I'll move it down here. All right, RadNav page. I think we're going to have to put this in manually. For the approach, ILS is going to be IBUR 109.5.
2 miles south of Las Vegas. Field at your 12 o'clock and 11 miles of port end site. Yeah, we're starting from the left.
All right, well, let me put in the identifier. But 109.5. Course is going to be 079.
Runway 1 left, clear to land.
Visual 1 left, cut line 1 left, American 47.
So this is actually a LS course for the localizer.
Envoy 2620, descend via throne 3.
So the real airplane, this one auto-tune it here, but we're going to manually tune 109.5. We're going to be visual anyway, but that's good to have a backup. We already talked about everything else. 1075 in the barrel, that looks good. All right. I'll have to add the pop-outs as new sources. Yep, I will definitely check that for the next stream for sure, man. All right, so Joe's, now I got to look at my arrival here. At 240, that's not going to happen.
Left extra and via Alpha, good day.
Let's go descent mode.
Taxi via Alpha, King Air 313.
And Joe's should be at 240.
Number 1230 Foxtrot, descend via Jenny 5 arrival, Burbank altimeter 3025.
Make it a hard altitude. I don't see it on here, but we'll see if we make it. Down we go. All right, so quickly, let's go over some company charts here for landing on Burbank. So we're going to be landing on runway 8 in Burbank, guys. It's 5,800 feet available for landing. Short runway. Going in here can definitely get you in trouble if you're not paying attention. You got to be on your A game. The company references. Let's talk about arrivals. So this is a captain-only landing airport. The landing on runways with less than 6,000 feet of usable runway procedures must be followed. So we have a separate set of procedures that I have in real life that we have to follow. I don't know why I'm picking up Morse code right now. That's interesting. Look at that shot, the sun setting. All right, all arrivals be fully configured at VAP by final approach fix. So you know how I always have that 2,000 foot, 180 knots, flaps 2 thing that we talk about? That's going to go out the window on this approach. We need to be fully configured, flaps full, at our VAP speed before the final approach fix. Runway touchdown must be within 1,500 feet of the threshold or displaced threshold. If not on the ground within 1,500 feet, a mandatory go-around must be executed. So we're going to have to just put her down. This is one of those approaches where you're probably going to ride that 3 red in there, not going to lie. I'd be lying to you if I said you wouldn't probably take a 3 red in as you come in over the threshold, especially on 8.
1430, reduce speed at 260.
Who was that for?
Southwest 1430, reduce speed at 260.
All right. Runway 8, most common for landing. Runway 8 localizer is unusable within 0.9 nautical miles to the threshold. So it's basically, you got to be within a mile. Or it's unusable within a mile, so you pretty much want to be visual. East of Buddy, aircraft Van Nuys pattern, well, we're not worried about that. RNAV visuals, land 1533, but we're not planning that, we're planning 8. Radio bleed over is expected from Van Nuys Tower. This is true in real life.
Set up discussion, maintain flight level 240.
Arrivals. Here we go. This is where I get to beat Phantom around a little bit. Arrivals tend to be held high. Plan to adjust accordingly. So these approach controllers in SoCal like to keep you high. I don't know why. They just always do. That's actually, it's so common that we actually have it here in our company procedures to adjust accordingly for being high on the approach. Runway 8 EMAS, that's the emergency arresting system, is installed, so if you do pull a southwest and go off the end of the runway, hopefully you'll stop before hitting a gas station. Due to the short inbound taxi, this is a big one. Due to the short inbound taxi, engine cooldown may occur at the gate. Do not release parking brake until both engines are shut down and aircraft is fully chocked. So, coming off the runway here, when you turn right, on landing on runway 8, you turn right into the ramp. It's literally right there. This is one of the biggest hazards, is you want to make sure your tail is across the whole short line, and everything happens. You're pretty much configuring, or you're pretty much cleaning up the airplane at the gate. That's what's so crazy about this airport. So we're going to just get off the runway, make sure we pass the whole short line, pull into the gate, we'll clean up the airplane, make sure we leave the parking brake set until the engines cool down and get the cool down time. That would be something in real life that we got to worry about. Not so much in the sim. But those are some notes for the arrival. All right. Let's see here. We are probably not going to make donut at 230. That didn't happen. I lost my VNav there, so we didn't make donut at 23. And you're not 313. We're going to be a little high at donut here. I tried to confess. All right, this is an auto brake medium required airport. So auto brakes medium are set.
United 313 Takeoff.
I just was giving you a heads up. We were a little bit high there over Donut. We're trying our best to get down and make John.
United 313, roger.
So John's at 220. I got the brakes out. I got the boards out. We're coming down. Look at this beautiful sky. I can't get over this sim. My goodness. Elias says, what are the 4 knobs switching beside the McDo? So those are switching panels. I actually had those questions. We were going to get into them. Basically reversion modes for if you lose air data, you can switch over. There's 3 air data computers, so you can switch over and get data from the 3rd or the FOs. I'll talk about that more in detail probably tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing a long haul stream for New Year's Eve. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel or your notification bell is on, because I don't know exactly when I'm going to schedule that. I'm going to try to schedule it today so you guys have something to look forward to tomorrow. That'll be a longer haul stream and we'll get into more of that. But this is I definitely have questions all picked out for these switching. But basically you can pick up information if you lose a system. Now I totally just blew John at 220. Basel, there is no restriction at Basel. Diver is at or below 19, so what we're gonna do is I'm going to vertical speed 0 at 19,000 feet.
Contact 26 miles.
That's what I'm gonna do.
South of Santa Catalina.
This is the developer version, Dave. This is the developer version. So 19.2, 19.1, vertical speed 0. Hello. Look at this sky. Oh my goodness. Turn on a little floodlight here. Wow.
Send me the comics to San Diego Altimeter.
Alright, so there's Dyer. Are we at Dyer?
Southwest 1430, reduced speed at 250.
Alright, 29 miles to go. We're at 19,000. We're gonna hold it there. Sunset went down. Look at that sky. Oh my gosh. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve.
United 18,
it is, right?
LA, Center runway
yeah, tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
Bravo.
We're going to try to hit multiple New Year's celebrations. We're going to do countdowns and try to fly through a couple time zones.
Field is at your 10 o'clock and 1
Does the A320NX have a pop-out window now? Trey Jackson, yes it does. Although you guys can't see it, unfortunately, because of my Streamlabs. But if you right Alt and then click on any screen, it will pop it out for you so you can see it and adjust it. Unfortunately, you guys can't see it because I have to set new browser sources for FS2020 when I pop it out. But yes, JCP or JClap. Sorry, JClap. Last day of 2020 is tomorrow. Man, I really hope I don't have to go around because I'm starting to really have to pee. I've had a lot of coffee on this flight here. Captain Tom, welcome to the stream, dude. On our descent into Burbank, ready to go here. This ought to be interesting. So, do we go for maximum realism, or do we just try to put it down? If we go for maximum realism, if we're not within 1,500 feet, we're going around. Can the pop-outs be moved outside the sim window? I was able to move it outside onto my other monitor. GNR says tomorrow's your son's birthday. Awesome, man. Well, happy birthday to your son.
Okay, LA Center, Alaska 257, we're holding short 15, we're ready to go here.
Well, Zero says it's so much nicer to look at a real pilot explaining and looking at him in action. You understand so much more. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I'm glad you're picking up some information here.
Clear for takeoff, right 267,
that is why I do this. That is what I'm here for.
Alaska 257.
Alaska 257 on departure, turn right heading 260.
Right turn heading 260, Alaska 257.
All right, how are we looking up here? So there's Dyer. Once we hit Dyer, we'll continue to descend down. Now, I wish we had Navigraph integration, so I could just pop open a tablet. But we'll see. We'll see if we can make it. After Dyer, we'll start down. Gosh, look at this. Look at that view. Oh my goodness. If you have to go to the bathroom, go now. Sliders to max realism, says Slam Cannon.
United 2480, radar contact.
Sam says realism because YouTube needs more realism. All right, man, we'll try it. Max realism on that sim. We'll do it. All right, I think I'm gonna, since we're gonna do that, and I'll probably have to go around. I'm gonna step out for a minute. And Center United 313. I'm gonna have to step away from the mic just for like a minute.
United 313, approved for port back.
Gotcha. All right, I will be right back, guys. Give me 60 seconds.
American 1954, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, good night.
All right, we're back. Yeah, Center United 313, we're back.
313, roger.
All right, there's Dyer 9. Oh, here we go. Pick it up at descent mode. That's interesting. Picked it up at a vertical speed of 0. Look at this sky color. Holy crap, this is unreal.
Alaska 257,
3025 on the meter.
Alaska 267, we're passing 3,300 for 4,000.
3025 is set.
Climb and maintain 13,000.
I maintain 13,000.
This is unreal.
Alaska 257.
All right, maximum realism now. Jay Clapp says, guys, should I get the total 321? Heck yeah, man.
Right click for takeoff.
I think we're going to be in that 321 NEO on the next stream. And then we got to do an A300 stream. Promise Dimitri. Got a really cool stream coming for you at that as well.
South 320, 3 runway 26 left, clear to land.
You need a shared cockpit so you can look out the window. I need to do one bad, man. I would love to do one. I got to do one with Flight Deck to Sim. I think that'd be a lot of fun. He mentioned it on one of his last streams when he was doing the NEO landing. It's pretty funny. Wojtek, what's up, man? Says, I love question and answer. Time is another way you can learn more. Got it, man.
398 heavy.
Actually, it helps me too. Because I need to learn this. I should know it, but I mean, you take 3 months off, you're just gonna start forgetting stuff. So this is why you go back to training. This is why it's a help for me, and it's entertaining for you guys. So as long as you keep enjoying it, I'm gonna keep doing it. Have I tried VR yet? No, I have not, unfortunately. I am looking for the next big investment sim-wise will be a GPU upgrade. That'll be coming next. All right, so it looks like we're back on profile. I've got the descent now. I've got a level off. Let's see. Copal is at 14,000. We have alt constraint there. Brake, medium, thrust, idle. So everything looks good there. I'm going to turn these off for...
United 2480 approved, report back.
So this is kind of a... Well, the Neos are like this. They are these whiter bulbs. The 319s, I love them. They have their own, like, there's yellow glow instead of the bright white LEDs.
Alaska 257, proceed direct to Castro, resume on navigation.
I mean, that is straight juice right there coming down. That view is unreal. Fubar says, heck yeah,
Left 257, clear direct to Castro, ONAB.
Don says V1 keeps you up to date. Man, I'm trying. That might be you in the top right.
Alaska 267,
Braden, was that you up there? I saw that traffic. Is that you? Did you take off at California somewhere? Hotshot says you don't know how much I've learned through your streams. That's awesome, dude. That makes me happy, man.
1590 LA Center, PDC will be sent.
That's honestly where I get the most enjoyment, is the feedback from you guys. You know, it's YouTube. I gotta hand it to them, man. They have some pretty crazy analytics, and it's really easy to get caught up in the numbers and like yes, I want to try to get all these analytics to work out, but at the end of the day, the reason I do this is because you guys are so receptive, and it makes me happy. It literally makes me happy when I get to refresh my memory, and I get to teach you guys something, and we all get to share a same passion for aviation, which is cool. Sculpture.
United 1871 Heavy, radar contact.
Culture Shock. Okay, so I've been saying your name wrong this whole time. Culture Shock says I'm waiting for 3080, 3090 notification.
Delta 1822 to
yeah, so I almost went with the 3080, but because I stream, I think I'm going to try to get a 3090 just because of the VRAM and streaming. I want to be, if I stream at 720, if I can run things and almost maxed out, I think it might look pretty darn good. So we'll see. I think I'm holding off for that 3090, but I want to get back to work here and make sure everything is good before I start putting significant investments back into the sim. All right, well, there's 10.9. Are we all right here? No, we're not. We are going to Palmdale. Palmdale is at or below 13s. That's fine. Janney is at 8,000, so this thing better level at 8.
Expect RNAV, Yankee, runway 8 approach.
Ooh. Any chance we can do the ILS to 8?
Alright, United 313, roger, expect vector ILS runway 8 approach.
Alright, we'll expect vector ILS runway 8 approach, thank you, United 313.
And more specifically, it's going to be the ILS Zulu runway 8 approach.
ILS Zulu 8 approach, United 313, thank you. Alright, wing lights come on. I'm going to just keep the other lights on.
407 runway 25, left clear to land.
251 clear to land for your flight 407.
Look at this line of traffic. We got one guy here, or that might be a star. We got one guy there. That looks so cool though. Oh, somebody's got the 1 minute weather. Culture Shock is good and easier. There you go.
704 Yankee Alpha, LA.
3090 will make my Sims happy. I agree, man. That's my huge bottleneck. I mean, I run an i9, which the i9 is incredibly powerful. Like right now, I'm only running 30% CPU while streaming and running FS2020. But my GPU is actually doing all right now. I'm holding 60 to 70% of the GPU, but I do have my settings turned down a little bit. What does it mean when they say cancel flight following? That just means that that aircraft no longer is requesting traffic advisory services from air traffic control, and that they're going to switch over to maybe a Unicom frequency or something else where they can practice pattern work, or maybe they're just going in for a landing. So it's basically saying that I want to cancel flight following, and they're going to get a new frequency. They don't want to talk to ATC anymore. That's what that means. Sam Kennedy says, yeah, FS2020 can already use 12. Oh, yeah, it can tank the VRAM. So.
Correct, runway 20 left taxi.
And like I said, I think this is going to be the future of the sim, so I'm trying to get my sim setup, my sim rig prepared for the future with that 3090. Now, if I wasn't a streamer, I think a 3080 would be just fine, but trying to get that content, and I want to do some pre-recorded videos and max graphics settings so you guys can really see some stuff. Uh-oh. Why are the engines spooling up here? All right, we're leveling 7,000 feet, 250 out-constrained star. He said ILS Zulu 8. That's what we have planned. I'm not seeing any... Oh, there it is. Look at that. IBUR 075, 109.5 does auto-tune.
American 398 heavy squawk.
Medium brakes, 1075 on the barrel.
Bravo.
All right, so quick approach brief for you guys. We're going to be planning landing the ILS Zulu runway 8 approach Burbank. We only have 50... Where's our actual landing? We have 5,800 feet available for landing. Required touchdown zone, 1,500 feet of the runway threshold. If not, mandatory go-around is required. If we have to go around on this approach, it's going to be straight out 1,300, followed by a climbing right turn 4,600 on a heading of 210.
United 313, depart puck heading 210, vector to final.
All right, depart puck heading 210, United 1013. How did I do that? I moved it like 1 degree.
Double 1430, expect ILS Zulu runway 8 approach.
There we go. All right, so puck 210. Up to 4,600 feet on a heading of 210, and intercept the VTU 086 radial and hold. Blah blah. We'll probably get radar vectors from ATC at that point. Biggest thing to remember there is there's terrain, so we need to go straight out 1,300 and a right turn 4,600. Oh, Phantom thinks they can do the visual.
Expect.
Well, that's flotation. You can do it. You definitely do that
I
visual.
don't expect that citation out of Tango.
That's pretty sweet. I'm going to have to get down and turn around so I can see Phantom's landing. Phantom, you got to be down within 1,500 feet as well. All right, so our approach briefing is essentially complete. We got Pappy's on the left, like I said. I'd be lying to you guys if I said you're going to hold 2 whites all the way in. Honestly, I've done this approach. That 3 red is fine, especially in close. But you don't want to make a habit of that. It's just this airport, that runway starts looking really short. Within 1,500 feet of the touchdown zone, we'll get her down. Full reverse, all the way down to 70 knots. Yeah, that was the default ATC talking in the background there.
And only center and southwest 1590 at Delta A,
That was 1590, runway 24 left exit via Echo.
24 left via Echo.
All right, so the other thing to pay attention to is here, off runway 8, when we turn off, we're going to turn right into the gate area. Why do I have default ACC
2631, radar contact, 25 miles.
All right, there's Puck, left turn 210, which essentially is
cross caddy, out of
kind of what the arrival has.
2000, Las Vegas, altimeter 3033.
2033 cross caddy, out of maintain 13000.
Give me one more. There we go. Heading selected. So now we're in a left turn heading 210. Phantom says pressure is real.
Southwest 1488, the field is at your 2 to 3 o'clock in 4 miles reported in sight.
Do I have any add-on aircraft? I have a Coronado Seminole PA-44, which is terrible. I highly recommend not purchasing that airplane. That's the only other airplane I have.
South 1590 on departure, turn left heading 210, runway 24.
Really looking forward to that Beach 99 from Virtual Cold. All right, 210 on the heading. We're looking good. I'm going to go ahead and just dial the speed back to... there we go. I'm going to come back to 210 knots. Select speed.
313, descend and maintain 5,000.
Descend and maintain 5,000 at 313. All right.
November
5,000 set.
Foxtrot, expect the island to do the runway 8 approach.
Open descent to 10 on the speed. What we can also do is activate and confirm, which we already flew through it, so we're looking good. We're already activated and confirmed. We flew through that approach point. And let's go ahead and extend flaps 1, shall we? Let's do it from... oh, I guess it'd be slats.
642 with you at flight level 270.
There they go.
370, sorry.
Can't wait till the Quality Wing 787. That would be sweet.
7320.
Manny, welcome to Private Pilot, my friend. Exclamation point, welcome. Thank you for joining the channel, man. Members only podcast will be available to you now. Just search for the playlist on the V1 channel there and look for V1 After Dark. I do have playlists for members only. If you are a Discord user, you can go ahead. You can sync your YouTube account to your Discord, and then you get access to the V1 After Dark channel as well, which again is the easiest way to get a hold of me or ask me questions in the Discord if I'm not around.
South 1430, fly heading 210, vector to final, descend and maintain 5,000.
That looks awesome, though.
Alaska 617, contact Los Angeles Center on 127.1.
Culture, with you. But man, this sim. Yeah, see, we're about 15 minutes late. If we landed about 15 minutes ago, it would have been a little bit more juicy with that sunset. I hear the thrust doing things here. What do we got? All right, we're leveling 5,000. We're 210 on the speed. Brakes medium. Looks like he's going to vector us right over. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we can't extend the line here, so we're just going to leave the box doing its thing. We have terrain off our 12 o'clock. Burbank off our left.
Contact, climb and maintain 13,000.
This is too cool, man. Look at that shot. There's Burbank right out there. Barely see the rabbit running. The Edge. Welcome to Private Pilot as well, man.
13,
positive rates in chat. Thank you, man. Look, new members joining the channel. Positive rates in chat. There we go. Get those out there. I love that positive rate emoji. Same thing for you, to Edge. Podcast every month. I've got November, December combined. I'll probably release it today.
Bravo, taxi via Bravo.
Welcome aboard, to Edge. Welcome
One right, taxi via Bravo, 1613 Southwest.
Captain Tom says, anybody want to tap that like button? I'm feeling a little lonely right now. If you guys like this content, hit that like button. That would be able to see more of it.
Runway 25, right clear for takeoff.
It's corona free. Captain Tom wiped it down.
Delta 1590, turn left direct clipper, resume the
Vodka, you're at the back of the pack.
Okay, left turn direct, clipper, resume.
A little bit of turbulence here coming over the hills. Gosh, this views, man. I think this is all default too. This is awesome. Oh, I don't know if we're supposed to be at 5,000
Alpha
coming
radar contact. Resume appropriate VFR altitudes and resume on navigation.
Appropriate VFR altitudes.
Russell Campbell, thank you so much for the 5 donation, man. He says last night on the Bourbon, then back on call for the fire service. Thanks for the awesome stream. Something to look forward to during lockdowns. Russell, thank you so much for your support, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for being a member of the fire service, man. That's some honest work right there, man. Appreciate that. Glad you look forward to the streams during lockdown. Appreciate your support yet again here on the channel. Thank you very much.
Roger. Climb and maintain flight level 360.
Climb and maintain flight level 360, Alaska 257.
Dislike button is in the hop.
1230 Foxtrot, flighting 210, vector final.
210 heading.
Is Phantom flying? Yeah, he's in citation 9 Tango Tango or something behind us. Wow, look at that sky out there.
Holding short.
All right, I'm going to drop us back to 180
Right, exactly before that.
because we're getting ready to be turned in here.
41 heavy, LA Center, runway 24 left exit via Echo.
Coming back to 180 knots. There's our VFE next. 10 knots below that. We'll extend flaps 2.
Alaska 257, radar service terminated, frequency change.
Let's do it from the external view so we can listen to those flaps.
Alaska 27, thanks for the excellent service.
Legion 591, radar contact, 14 miles, southeast of the BDVOR. Vicinity of Sunset 4 arrival, Las Vegas altimeter 3029er.
Flaps 2. I can see Burbank out there.
Center Southwest 260, ready, taxi expecting 15.
When and why are wing lights used in the U.S.? We use them below 10,000 feet.
United 313, turn left heading 110, join the localizer.
Turn left heading 110, join the localizer, runway 8, United 313. All right, left turn to 110, and then join the localizer. It's not an approach clearance, so what you do there is you just arm the loc push button, which I'm going to let it spin around here.
3 runway 15, taxi via Alpha, cross runway 26 at Alpha.
And I'll go ahead and press loc. Loc is armed, so it arms the glide slope. It shouldn't arm the glide slope because I didn't press approach mode. It should only arm the localizer, so we have to pay attention to that. Oh man, that's cool though. Turning in here.
That is 313, 6 miles from Silex, cross Silex at or above 3,700, cleared ILS, Zulu, runway 8 approach.
Silex at about 3,700, cleared ILS, runway 8 approach, and at 313. All right, so approach mode armed. I don't think you can do autopilot. You can't do a autopilot. So we got approach mode armed. Silex at or above 3,700. I'm gonna go ahead and just dive and drive down to 3,700 so that we can configure loc star. So we should start turning inbound here.
Delta 1595 and maintain flight level 290.
We'll go ahead and manage speed because we do have to be fully configured by Buddy. Localizer is alive. Runway in sight.
Southwest 1430, turn left heading 110, descend and maintain.
Out of sequence, we will extend flaps 3.
Under the 41 heavy, ready to go.
Envoy 2620, turn right heading 300.
It'll keep coming down.
Right, 0300 vector pursuit.
Man, night landing on Burbank.
1430, 7 miles from Silex, cross Silex at above 3,700, cleared ILS through the runway 8 approach. United 313, maintain 170 knots or greater to a 5-mile final.
170 or greater to 5 out, United 313. We'll do our best.
Delta 41 ready, 240.
No promises. We'll maintain 160, flaps 3.
Delta 41 heavy, RNF to Docker, runway 24 left, cleared for takeoff.
Just waiting for that glide slope to come down now.
Toga 16, 113, ready to take off on main runway.
We'll have to not pay attention to chat now as we get in here for the approach. So
Okay, south of 620.
I will be ignoring chat for the duration of the landing here. Looks like we've got traffic down low going in Van Nuys or something. Alright, we're leveling 3,700. Gosh, this is awesome.
Back at 398, radar contact, climb and maintain.
That straight up looks real. You got traffic out here. The lighting at night in
South of
FS2020.
1488, text to ramp via Bravo, good night.
Text to ramp via Bravo.
Is this real life?
November 30 Foxtrot, traffic to follow is 11 o'clock, 7 miles.
I'm going to turn off terrain mode just because it's kind of blinding.
ILS2 runway 8, A320
Actually,
reported at site.
That was flight 1938.
Oh shoot. I was trying to turn on or turn down the
Air flight 1938 LA, go ahead.
Alright, that's as close as I'm going to give you right there. Let's go gear down, gear thump. Since we don't have replay mode, we'll extend it from here. Look at that, gear dropping down. VFE next -10 flaps full.
Southwest 263, runway 15, clear for takeoff.
Good night. Those flap sounds, hot shot, are on fire, dude. All right, we're fully configured. Coming back to VAP. We are just outside of Buddy. I believe it's Buddy, right? Yeah, it is Buddy.
Number 123 Sierra Foxtrot, descend and maintain 4,000, turn left heading 110.
All right, missed approach altitude is 4,600 feet. Try to get in some more of these approach shots here before we have to actually land this thing.
263 runway 15.
Look at that, full flaps hanging down.
15, clear for takeoff, southwest 263.
That's the best shot right there.
Traffic's departing runway 15, runway 8, clear to land.
Runway 8, clear to land, yeah, at 313.
Flight of 41, passing 2.1.
And number 123 Sierra Foxtrot, join the localizer.
There's the outer marker.
United 1871, radar service terminated, frequency change.
Ground looks entertaining with the terrain off the nose, yeah. All right, in the event of a go around 1300, then a right turn 4600 on a heading of 210.
Runway 26 left.
We'll keep riding the autopilot down here. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers, cabin check.
LA Citation 9 Tango has Burbank in sight.
That looks real right there. Look at the highway.
41, clear passing.
This sim, dude, it's unbelievable in the visuals. To think this is all default too, just blowing my mind a little bit. We need a good landing V1. Hey, we're going realism or bust here at Burbank.
Tango.
And then if we bust this first one, which is very possible because I know this airplane likes to float, then we will on the second approach we'll just put her down. All right. Are you guys ready? We're going to hand fly this thing. Oh, actually, I want to see his, where's the citation Tango? Look at that lineup. He's behind us there. Slow it down, Phantom.
Delta 41 radar contact.
I'm going to need extra time on the runway. All right, here we go. Let me get my view just right here for touchdown. I know it's hard to see the screens. Autopilot off. Flight director's off.
Citation 9 Tango, follow the traffic, clear visual approach runway 8, maintain directly, just do not exceed 170 knots.
Roger, we'll follow him, clear visual approach runway 8, do not exceed 170 on this.
Jeez, that guy taking off right in front of us.
We're 123 Sierra Foxtrot over.
Down to land, clear to land, here we go guys. We're looking 2 whites, 2 reds right now, we're looking good, and we're going to drop that down to 3 reds here as we get in closer. Would be using the bird, but we do not have the bird available. Whoa! What's up with that wind shift? Was that weight turbulence? Surely that's not model, right?
263 radar contact, climb and maintain 13,000. 13,000, southwest 263. All aircraft requesting clearance, expect a 5-minute delay.
This guy's working hard. And flight, shout out.
5 Envoy 2620, turn left heading.
Alright, here we go. I'm going to start riding her down.
Runway 8 approach.
There we go. There's my 3 reds. Gonna ride that a little bit here.
Runway 2620 descend and maintain 5,000.
Now I'm going to retard early because of I know this airplane likes to float.
Southwest 263, turn right heading 260.
100.
Right turn to 260, Southwest 263.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Down. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel.
November 1230, Sierra Foxtrot, runway 8 clear to land.
70 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Allegiant 591 field is at
to
your
Burbank.
10 miles, reported inside.
Woo.
Yeah, got you on site, request visual.
I wish we had a replay. We were right on the money on that one. Okay, so we got to find the gate.
591 clear visual.
Should we slow? Should we just take our times and make Phantom go around? I think we should take our time here.
Overflight field, and then we'll turn
Make Phantom go around. No,
Yeah,
we
you
won't
can do whatever you
I
want.
think this is a gate right
Okay.
here. All right, so this is where you just got to be on your toes here.
Delta 822 parking at Delta 42.
We're going to take it straight into the gate. You got to clear your tail.
Delta
You have to
822,
clear your tail.
26 right at
This is
Alpha
this
6,
line right here. You got to
Vector
clear
Charlie,
that.
Quebec.
Alpha 6 Charlie to the ramp from.
We're clear. I'm going to hold here. Kill my strobes. There's Phantom landing down there.
LA Center, it's Mercy 1 down here in San Diego.
We'll sneak into the gate.
Helipad with a departure to the south.
Southwest 6113 on departure, flighting 010, runway 1 right cleared for takeoff.
I think I'm going to hit this truck here. That's right.
departure, heading 6113 southwest.
Who's coming in down there?
Good Southwest 2.
Citation November 525 Whiskey Tango requesting IFR clearance to
Yeah.
KDEN-KBUR.
Southwest 263, proceed direct to core res, climb and maintain flight level 300.
Direct core res and flight level 300 for Southwest 263.
November 279 Tango Tango, runway 8 cleared to land.
That was another Airbus that landed. I thought that was a citation.
Citation 9 Tango Tango.
Oh, we still got time. Let's go. Brake set. Let's clean up these flaps.
Southwest 1430,
We'll wait
exit
for our
right
engine
taxi
cool
ramp,
down.
Quebec.
We'll go into drone mode here. Awesome flap sounds. We got 3-minute cool downs going on here.
After flight 222 radio check.
5x5, United 1871, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, Quebec.
Which is number the United 1871 heading.
I don't remember how to control my drone around. My drone controls aren't bound. No! No! My drone controls aren't bound. Uh-oh, now we did it. Now I'm stuck. Why am my drone's not bound? Oh my gosh, that's such a freaking annoyance. My controls aren't bound. Rip. He's landing over there. Oh man, what a bummer. The drone camera's terrible. You need to have... I had it bound. Oh, he's down way within. He's definitely safe. Yeah, now it's... I had it, but it's like locked now. Like I was using the ASW keys. That's such a bummer, man. I hate that camera. Unless you have like it bound, which I do. It doesn't even show a citation there anyway. That's fake news citation. All right. But he was definitely down. I saw him land way within the touchdown zone there. That was good. Let's go ahead and shut these engines down. We should probably get the APU fired up. Oh, we got ground power. Even better. That's probably realistic too. And we'll go ahead and spool her down. Ooh, it is APU startup sound. We'll start up the APU. He buttered it on the piano keys for sure. Well, that's an interesting looking paint job there. I think that's just like some static airplanes maybe. All right, let's go ahead and fire up the APU real quick from the outside. Beacon light can come off. And seatbelt sign can come off. Dome light can come on. And check these sounds out. Let me get my camera right. Phantom, shut down your engines, man, so I can listen to my APU startup. I need him. Well, as soon as he shuts his engines down, I'll fire up this APU so you can hear him again. Sam, that was you 1,200 feet on touchdown? Awesome, man. I really wish we had a replay mode right now, and I have to rebind all my drone stuff. I guess it's not bound. I had it bound to some keys, and then even the default keys, and then I think I locked it somehow. Phantom, you gonna shut down or what, Mike? Waiting for cooldown over there. Still got his strobe lights on. Alright. We're gonna fire it up. Wow. Now he shuts down. We'll get that APU fired up for some air con here in Burbank. I literally feel like I'm outside of the airplane. That's unreal. That's awesome, Hotshot. I literally feel like I'm standing underneath the tail cone of this airplane when that's spooling up. If you guys are just, if you've never experienced it, I mean, that's what it sounds like. That is what APU sounds like when it's spooling up. Getting up to his rotor speed. Ear protection required, Hotshot. That's too cool, man. That is too cool. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. We'll keep the bleed on for the next crew. Wing lights, I could have turned those off a long time ago. Check your wing lights. But ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. Listen to those listen to the packs. The packs are even spooling up. That's awesome. That is fantastic work on the audio, man. And that's what this sim needs, dude. Like, you guys are doing an awesome job getting the mod where it needs to be. And the sounds are just the icing on the cake, man. I wish we had a replay. I don't see anybody else on final out there. I think we all made it in. Couple guys landed in right behind me. It looks like we're all within the touchdown zone. We definitely were right on that. Right, want to be down right before those pappies, really. But guys, I don't have a replay mode for you, so I think we're gonna have to end it there. Oops, I don't even have that for you. Huh? I don't even have a replay screen anyway. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed talking Airbus. I hope you learned a little bit of something. Phantom, thanks for flying along. Sam, thanks for flying along. Vodka, thanks for flying along as well. Tomorrow, I think we will be doing another stream. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure your notifications are on. I will try to get that out here pretty soon so we can have that up. But I do want to do a New Year's stream. Say goodbye to 2020 as we know it and welcome in 2021. Last thing before I leave, Warthog side stick settings. You want to hear? While I'm here, we got nothing else really to do. Let's look at the settings. Let me show you guys what I have set up here for my Warthog. The biggest thing, you know, pitch and roll, and then I've got my sensitivity. So let me show you what I have rocking for sensitivity. I did tweak these. I tweaked these yesterday. So this is, and you know what I've actually noticed that my curve actually looks, I need to invert this one. I think this should be a positive 25, right? If I'm not mistaken. Oops, not that one. So that stream I flew like that, but I think this should be the opposite direction. There we go. I'm going to rock that. I'm going to try that next time. That's what it, this is probably what it looks like. See, this is making it more sensitive here towards the center as you pitch down or go left. So yeah, so I'm going to change that right now. So this is probably what I would rock. I had, what, 30 on this one? There we go. So that's what I'm probably going to rock. That would help it be a little bit more, less twitchy.